Oh, we are live! How are we, lads? Come on, the footy! The footy spot! Guys, subscribe to the channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! The Cowboys win it! Woo! Hey, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Rugby League Breakdown podcast, episode number 39. Arguably the biggest podcast of the year. We're going to be doing a full season preview on all 16 NRL clubs. I'm really excited for the podcast. And we have plenty of people on tonight. Obviously, we've got ProEnzo and Sam. I'll start with you fellas. Lorenzo, Sam, how are you fellas going?
Going well, bro. Can't wait. Full predictions and everything's good.
How good's this, man? Going really well. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I see we've got about 19 people in the chat. I'm sure the views will go up as the show goes on. We've got 3 massive special guests, 3 massive YouTubers. I'll start with Entertain House first. Hayden, brother, thanks for coming on the podcast, bro.
No worries, mate. Very excited. 24 hours until the season kicks off.
Can't fucking wait. And Paddy G, good to have you on once again, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Manly 13 plus.
Oh, that's fucking just typical from you, my friend. And Trev from Shut the Gates, one of the most entertaining YouTube channels on the planet. I was in laughing mode last night when Trev and Toby were doing their tips. Obviously, Toby's connection was a bit like Warriors and NRL Fanatics, but it ended up working in the end. Trev, mate, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yes, thanks for having me. I pay my electricity bills around here, so.
That was good last night. I really enjoyed that. Everyone's done their tips. It's going to be a great round. It's going to be a great season. But before we get into the podcast, make sure everyone in the live chat, make sure you all like the video or the live stream, depending on how you're watching it, whether you missed the stream. Make sure you like the video back. Subscribe if you're new around here, and go and check out the YouTube channels of ProEnzo Vidz, Sam REVILL, Entertain House, Paddy G, and Shut the Gates. Go and check their YouTube channels out. The link is in the description below for all their channels, respectfully. But, boys, the off-season, we all managed to get through it. How did everyone go in the off-season? I was really struggling in the off-season. If it wasn't for the NBA, I'd be fucked. But how did everyone go in the off-season without no footy on?
Yeah, good.
Got through it well? No dramas?
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh, mate, if the NBA saved you, the NFL saved me, bro. I thought the cricket was pretty abysmal. But no, it's here. It's here, mate.
What about you?
Mate,
yeah, go on, Paddy.
Watching Australia be the absolute pulp out of England will save any summer for me. So my off-season was great.
Yeah, very nice. Hayden, obviously you were at the some of the Big Bash in the NBL. Mate, how was that in the off-season for you?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. The Sixers, no title this year, which was a little bit disappointing, but obviously went back-to-back. Then NBL, absolutely love watching the Sydney Kings. They've become a title contending team. I've really gotten into basketball in the off-season. You mentioned the NBA, which is almost anyone's game at the moment, but enough about American sport. Let's get into some Aussie sport.
Absolutely. And Lorenzo, I think you were a bit like me in the off-season. We were just struggling, just waiting for the footy to start.
Oh, fucking oath we were. Like, I had the Premier League and the soccer and everything watching that, but not nothing compared to NRL. So, yeah, nah.
I was watching every second of the Premier League until my fucking team can't win the title anymore, Chelsea. So I was like, well, fuck it. We're not going to watch any more games. We're fucked now. So that's it for us. But let's get into it, fellas. Let's just get straight into it. NRL 2022 full season preview. Man, there's so many teams in the offseason that have done a lot. They've made a lot of changes. A lot of teams have kept similar squads. I think it's good that a lot of teams have made a lot of changes because last year the competition was so one-sided with Penrith, Rabbitohs, Storm, and Manly. Everyone else was pretty much just making up the numbers, really. But let's get into the first team, and we're going to preview, and we're going to get into the Brisbane Broncos. Let's get into the Broncos. So obviously, in the off-season, they picked up Adam Reynolds, Kurt Capewell, reserve grade player Branko Lee ended up getting into the Broncos system. I don't know who else they bought up. Ryan James, another one who they picked up in the offseason as well. I'll start with you first, Lorenzo. Broncos this year, do you reckon they're in for a good year, or are they gonna do much this year? What do you thought from the Broncos for this season?
I had 6, so that's what most of us are aware of. In my ladder predictions, I had them 6. I know it's a big call, but I just think if they can keep everyone in the field and just, play well and keep Reynolds there, Staggs and everyone, then I think they're in for a good year. Like there's potential there, I believe. Again, I can't trust them fully because they haven't played a full game together yet. But again, I think they're in for a good season. I think Capewell's a good signing as Reynolds, and I think the squad, it's a good mixture. There's experience, there's youth. So I think if they get it right, then it should be all right.
Interesting. Yeah, look, the Broncos, they are an interesting sign, aren't they? Obviously, Kevin Walters just re-signed the other week, which I found to be a bit strange. But Lorenzo, do you think the Broncos made a good decision by keeping Kevin Walters now, or should they have waited until the season got underway and just see how it all goes?
Yeah.
The Dodo's kicking in. Are you there, Lorenzo?
Yeah, what'd you say?
Oh, no, I said, do you think Kevin Walters re-signing early was a good thing from the Broncos?
I think Dodo's all right. It's not really that. It's just I didn't hear properly, bro. But, I think it's a good call.
In the background or something going on.
No, it's not me. I can hear it too.
Vacuum cleaner season preview. Fuck me, Dad. Oh, well. All good, bro. We'll get back to you, Lorenzo. What about you, Sam? Broncos in the off-season, obviously they've bought a lot of players. Do you think the Broncos are in for a good year this year, or is it more of the same from last year?
They'll be in for a better season, in my opinion. I think even at some stage they'll find themselves consistently in the top 8 for, say, 3 weeks at a time. But their team is so full of youth still that I think they might crumble a little bit towards the back end. They might tire out towards the back end. And I think they'll miss the top 8 and finish between 9th and 12th.
Will Adam Reynolds make them a better team, or is it just going to be a good kicking game? Because you look at Adam Reynolds, he doesn't really run the ball as much. He just kicks and just does all that. He doesn't run the ball a whole lot. Do you think Reynolds is going to make them an instant top 8 side or not yet?
He will make them a better side. I don't see him hitting the ground running just because of the injuries he sustained in the off-season, copping COVID the other day as well. I think he'll start the year off a little bit flat, but come 3 weeks in, 3 games in, I think he'll be very good. And as I said, I think they'll find themselves somewhere in the top 8 for a bit, but then I think they'll fall away and miss the top 8 come finals.
Yeah, fair enough. Trev, mate, obviously your mate from Shut the Gates, Toby, big Broncos fan. Obviously, he will have high aspirations for the Broncos this year. Do you see the Broncos making the finals this year, or do you think they're not quite there just yet?
Sorry about the vacuum cleaner, boys. I'm going to get it off a very second. There we go. Hopefully that's it.
That's all good, yeah.
The Broncos, if Adam Reynolds is not there, they'll shit the bed. But it just all depends. I think they can. I think they can definitely do something. Well, I think they will. No, I don't think they will. I think. I think if they need, it depends how they start the season. If they get a couple of wins together, they might build something. But if they fall away, Adam Reynolds is injured, just anything like that, they'll just crumble again. Kevin Walters, terrible coach. I can't believe they re-signed him for another year. What are they thinking with that? With Kevin Walters, he came 12th last year. I don't even know. Bottom 8. Who cares?
Third aim or something.
They didn't make the finals. And you re-sign him for another year. Why? No one else is after him. You probably get him cheaper after this year.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Paddy G? I know you haven't been so high on the Broncos in the off-season. I know what you've got to say about the Broncos, but will they make the 8? Will they improve, or will they be bottom 4 again?
I think they'll definitely improve. I think a lot of Broncos fans are expecting Tommy Turbo and Nathan Cleary. Reynolds has never been the best number 1 option for the Bunnies. I think he'll give them a lot of direction. He'll fix up their last tackle plays, which is, I think, their biggest issue at the moment. But the good thing is they have a really young roster, so that can really change a week-to-week basis. But I still don't see any of them rising up to popping out as like Sam Walker or Reece Walsh did when they made their debuts. Even Cobbo, I don't see it just quite yet. Maybe he'll improve in the future. Capel will probably do a good job and provide some leadership for him. But I just think they're coming from so far down, and a lot of other teams who were fighting for the 8 last year improved. Not as... I think they've improved better and they'll be closer to fighting in the 8. I don't think they'll be in a spoon battle, but I still think they'll be a fair way outside of playing finals football.
Yeah. What about you, Entertain House? Will the Broncos improve a lot, or will they still be in the bottom 4?
Well, I'm with Lorenzo and Sam on this one. And what I mean by that, I've got the Broncos in 7th. But Sam, as you mentioned, this younger side, I think the thing with the Broncos is they've had a great forward pack for years, and they kind of remind me of last year's Gold Coast Titans, where you either have them in your 8 or you have them just outside the 8. Most people, for the most part, don't have them bottom 4. You had Jaden Campbell and Toby Sexton filling in as games, and now you've got players like Tessie New and Selwyn Cobbo coming into the side, as well as the debutant that I think will play, Logan Bailey. So I've actually got them in 7th position. But I think they'll have a much better year. And I think Adam Reynolds is just a great addition to the halves if they can get their halves combination right for an entire year. But I fucking doubt that will happen.
I find it very concerning that the Broncos don't even know who their number 6 is with Adam Reynolds, and they don't even know who their hooker is long term. And they don't even know who their fullback is. Jermaine Asako is named to play fullback this weekend, which we'll get to later on, which I find hilarious. I like that forward pack. I think Tony Staggs is obviously going to be their main focus in attack on that right-hand side for the Broncos. I don't know. If Reynolds is out for a game or two, do the Broncos win that game? For example, if the Broncos are playing a lower-tier team and Reynolds is not there, will Brisbane be able to win that game? But if Reynolds is playing for the Broncos, will they be able to compete with teams that are around the top 8 or even in the top 6? I don't know. I think they'll come about 10th or 11th this year, the Broncos. I've got them about 10th. They'll go close making the end. I think they'll win majority of their games at home. I think they're going to really struggle on the road. Obviously, all the COVID and all the tests that they're going to have all the time now. I think they will improve. They will definitely miss the bottom 4. If the Broncos finish bottom 4, Kevin Walters might as well just get on the plane now and go and just leave. But I've got them finishing about 10th or 11th. I think they're going to have a tough year. They'll improve, but they won't make the 8 by any means. Anything else on the Broncos, boys?
Very strange. I'm with Trevor. Re-signing Kevin Walters in a massive year ahead. I think it's a strange decision from the Brisbane Broncos to re-sign him for another season.
Why do you think they did that? Why do you think they did that?
I honestly don't know, Trev. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a very strange decision, and I really don't know why they would, mate. Honestly, I don't know.
I think after the whole Anthony Seabolt situation, Kevin Walters, because of how much Brisbane love him, it sort of kept him in that role.
It's the only reason he got the job.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're sort of just trying to keep the fans happy because the outrage that was the 2020 season, I feel like they're just trying to keep the fans on board, keep them happy. It's only a year, and contracts, when they're that short anyway, they could sack him halfway through this year and it'll cost them nothing, really. So I think it was just something to keep the fans happy. I don't rate him as a coach. I don't know if he'll be a 5-10 year team builder, but who knows? He's only had 2 years, so we've got to give him more time.
Does Billy Walters get the 6? Sorry, does Billy Walters get the 6 if his dad's not coaching?
Well, this week he does, because Tyson Gamble, I think he's been affected by COVID. Albert Kelly's in at halfback.
I mean, just
Adam Reynolds is injured, but in general, no. I think there's if everyone was non-injured or what have you, I think it would be nepotism from Kevin Walters if Billy Walters got it over, like Tyson Gamble, for example, for sure.
Don't really want to ask this question, but I'm going to, and I want everyone to just give me a simple yes or no for this. Are the Broncos a one-man team with Adam Reynolds?
No.
Yeah.
You still got you still got the likes of Katoni Staggs, who, he's injury and suspension proven, but no, I think players have proved themselves in that team. Payne Haas with all those Dally M points. That's why I can't have Payne Haas getting Dally M points, because there's players that will be there this year consistently getting points, because he was up there last year.
If the Broncos, look, I'm with Trevor. I reckon they are one-man team. If Adam Reynolds isn't there, how the fuck are they going to win a close game with them halves? Tyson Gamble, the bloke's shot. The bloke is dreadful. Billy Walters, he wouldn't be there if Kevin Walters wasn't his dad. It's the same as the fucking if Kyle Flanagan was if Shane Flanagan was a coach and Kyle Flanagan if Kyle Flanagan wasn't his son, he wouldn't be getting picked either if Shane Flanagan was coaching somewhere. But look, I can't see the Broncos making the 8 this year. I think they'll be around 10 for 11, and I reckon they're a one-man team. They will really struggle without Reynolds.
I think they're going to be worse than last year if Reynolds is out this year for an extended period, because they're going to be comfortable with Reynolds, where last year they're sort of always trying to figure out who their halves are, and that they're comfortable with being sort of uncomfortable with that half situation, where this year they're going to have one guy, and if he's gone, there's no one to lead the ship.
It's very hard to win close games without a good halfback, and if Reynolds isn't there one week and they're playing someone that's 3 or 4 spots below them, it might be tough for them to win that round. So enough of the Broncos. Interesting to see how they go this year. It's going to be interesting to watch them, how they go. Let's go to the next team. West Tigers. A lot of people reckon they're going to go dog shit, but I reckon the Tigers are going to avoid the bottom 4 this year. I reckon they're actually going to improve a little bit. Lorenzo, do you see the West Tigers improving this year, or do you reckon they'll still be in the bottom 4?
I think they'll go all right. Like, I think with Hastings in there, got a better half. I think that's an indication that Luke Brooks won't be their real halfback going forward. I think Hastings is the guy that's probably going to take over for a while, I'd say as well. The only concern for me with the Tigers is that their forward pack's still a bit weak, in my opinion. They still lack that really big front rower, I think, as well. The back line's not terrible. Well, I think the back line's probably better than the forward pack, but it's not. Again, there's not that big name. They need that actual big name, that team somewhere that they don't have like a Turbo or a Cleary. They don't have that sort of player that represents that club. If you know what I mean. So that's another concern for me. And just I don't know, the way they run that club sometimes it's a bit not professional. I think we've had named 5 captains and just other stuff they've done in the past. It's hard to really get a read on them, to be honest. But they should get better, I think, at least.
Where do you reckon they'll finish on the ladder, Lorenzo? Where will the Tigers finish?
13th.
Oh, jeez, it's the same spot as last year for the bloody Tigers. Well, poor bastards. The only way's up for them. What about you, Sam? West Tigers, will they improve this year? Will they avoid bottom 4? What are your thoughts on the Tigers this year?
No, I have them as my wooden spooners for 2022. I have a massive question mark on their leadership. I mean, James Tamar was anointed as one of the 5 new captains, and then he took out poor Sam Walker. So what sort of leadership is that? I feel bad for Luciano Leilua. I think he's probably the West Tigers' best player. And just over the past 72 to 48 hours, reports came out that they allegedly tried to ship Jock Madden back up 5'8" to Canberra Raiders. Why are you going to do that for when Adam Dewey's still out and you don't know what's going to happen to Jackson Hastings and Luke Brooks? So they're still making really daft decisions throughout this offseason, and they all said at the end of last season, it's a big year in 2022. Well, it's more of the same so far as I'm concerned with the West Tigers. And look, they might jag and upset this year. I'm sure they will, but I don't think it'll be enough to get them away from the wooden spoon in 2022.
Yeah. What about you, Trev? Do you reckon the Tigers will improve this year, or do you reckon they'll be bottom 4 again?
Oh, no, they'll absolutely improve this year with someone like Jackson Hastings. Lorenzo was just saying about how they don't have a team to take him forward now. I think Lorenzo, like a player to take him forward. I think Jackson Hastings is that player. I think Hastings is the player. I think he's going to be by the year. But I think he's good. But I'm just waiting there. It depends how they can go without Adam Dewey. Adam Dewey is like their heart, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they'll ship off Luke Brooks to the Knights as soon as Dewey gets back. And who can really believe the Jock Madden story? You know, they're looking for stories, you know, a day out from the season starting. So I don't know. I like the Tigers. I always sort of like the Tigers. I like watching them play. You know, it's tough. It's tough.
When they're on, they're good to watch.
They're not even that like their team's not even that bad really. Like Dane Laurie at the back, you know, they got. I just don't like Jake Simkin that much at hooker. But yeah, I can see Sam there saying Luciano Leilua is their best player, possibly because he's a Cowboys recruit, mate. Any talk in that or?
No way at all. He absolutely killed it, albeit it was a trial. He killed it in that game.
I think he's great.
Suburbs. He was a very good player last year as well. A try-scoring machine in some parts, but yeah, no, Luciano Leilua, I've been very impressed with him. And yes, it is an added bonus that he's coming in 2023. But no, I've always liked the cut of Luciano Leilua's jib.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's great. He's a very good player, and the Cowboys' best signing in 5 years, maybe. But yeah, no, I had him on the Tigers. I think Tyron Peachy will add a bit of points. You got to add points in to score to win games these days. You don't win against the shit teams against defense. You win it in points.
Yeah, no, well said. What about you, Paddy G? Will the Tigers do much this year? Will they get better, or what do you reckon?
No, I reckon the Tigers will be in the mix of a spoon battle in 2022. I just don't rate their roster. I mean, their best player is Adam Dewey, Daniel Laurie, both still not top 5. Is Daniel Laurie even a top 10 fullback? They just lack a lot of cattle for me. Obviously, no leadership, as Sam said earlier.
They got 5 of them.
They should have 17 of them.
Five times the amount of other clubs.
They're undefeated with 5 captains, to be fair.
I know.
But what was I saying? And then the coach, big question marks around the coach. I think everyone at that club, as well as every fan, knows that he's probably on borrowed time. And I've said this before. I don't like the fact when you come out like the Bulldogs have done with Trent Barrett and go, you need to do this or we're not keeping him. It's like, if you don't believe in him, he's obviously not your man. Coaches need time, like we just spoke about with Kevin Walters. So for me, basically, just don't have the roster, and their best young gun, Tuilagi, is that his name? When he's going to try against, he's coming to Manly. So, well, I think Papali'i and Api Coruscant will be great for them. I think that they got to sort out this half situation. Brooks is probably gone. It'll be Hastings and Dewey, and then for this year, I feel like it's just a bit of a waste of the year. They want to improve some players with this poor roster, get rid of Maguire, and move to 2023.
What do you reckon, Hayden? Tigers, are they on the up, or are they going to be around the same as what they were last year?
Just like Paddy, mate, I think they'll be in a spoon battle worse than last year. I got them finishing 15th, and my headline for this team is that Tales of Tiger Town Season 2 will have a new coach. Michael Maguire probably won't be there, in my opinion, past this year. I don't mind some of the players in their roster. You've mentioned some good ones in David Nofaluma, Luciano Leilua. I really like young Tommy Talau as well. When he's not injured, he's really on his game. Can play on centre, can play on wing, so a bit reliable there. But I think the Tigers can avoid the wooden spoon. But I also feel like I don't like to tip the same team to get the spoon twice. So maybe I would have gone the Tigers to get the spoon if I hadn't have gone them last year.
I reckon the Tigers will miss the bottom 4. I've got them in 12th. I think they're going to improve a little bit. Hastings will do good things for them, but I feel sorry for him the first 10 rounds though. He has to partner with Luke Brooks. We all know how Luke Brooks has gone since 2013, I think, when he's debuted. He had one good year, Luke Brooks. That was in 19, I think, or 18, when he got Dally M halfback of the year. But outside of that, disappointing from Luke Brooks. The Tigers season for me, that doesn't start until they get Adam Dewey back. So hopefully they can get a couple of wins before then and not be down on the bottom. I think Adam Dewey's back around Magic Round period, around round 9, around 11, around that period. So I think the Tigers will go okay. Stefano's obviously their best forward. They need to try and get another prop to complement him. Maybe someone like Mark Tapau could be good. Maybe someone experienced. Someone could go there and help young Stefano. But it's going to be tough for the Tigers. I reckon Oliver Gildard's a good buy as well. But you've got to go easy on Oliver Gildard. Don't criticise him early because he's still getting over a pretty bad injury and he's still got to get used to the NRL where he's been over in the Super League for a while and stuff. So It would take a while to get used to it. So, look, I think Tigers will improve, but they'll come about 12 for me. All right, let's move on from the Tigers. Let's go to the next team. Hayden and Trevor like this. The Eels. Parramatta. I don't know where I'm putting Parramatta this year. I don't know what I'm thinking. Everyone's got him in the top 4. Some have got him in the 8. Some people have got him out of the 8. It's an interesting one with Parramatta. I'm really optimistic with Parramatta this year. Lorenzo, how will the Eels go this season? Are they a contender? Are they a top 8 team that's going out first round? What's happening with the Eels this year? Lorenzo, what's going to happen with Parramatta?
Look, I still think they've got the same squad to do with things like that. There's not too much change. I mean, the only real changes happen in 2023. It's not really this year, but I guess a concern with me is that, like I mentioned in my ladder prediction video about 2 weeks ago, that I said that, with the drama, I guess, with Marnie and everything, that's obviously going to cause a bit of havoc, you'd think, with him going to the rivals, the Bulldogs and everything like that. Yeah, that's what I think personally. But yeah, I think at the same time, it's it's obviously an easy Parramatta. I can't get rid of them either, but this year I have them 9th, but this is one I could be definitely proven wrong on. But again, I just can't trust them with the whole player stuff going into other clubs. Obviously means they're committed elsewhere, so that's not a good indication.
Quick question, Lorenzo, before I move on to Sam and get his opinion on the Eels this year. What is your main reason why you don't have Parramatta in your top 8? I'd love to know.
Well, I just think, with Brad Arthur at the helm, I just don't think the players want to play. I could be wrong because I'm not there, so I can't really comment too much on what the players think of Brad Arthur. But just from what I think at the same time as well, I think the players obviously are leaving, obviously want to Arthur, and there's obviously issues there, I guess, because he's been there for a couple of years now, obviously, and so players are obviously going to get a bit frustrated. They keep getting the same results per year. So look, that's what I think, but I could be wrong. So,
all right. What about you, Sam? How will Parramatta go this year? Are they in for a good season, or what's going to happen with the Eels this year?
Yes, I think they're in for a very good season. I have them finishing inside the top 4. I understand Lorenzo's point of view where they could go backwards so far as being distracted by the signings that are leaving, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to learn and evolve from the loss against Penrith. They came within a whisker of winning, and I think they're going to be challenging to make the grand final, if not winning a premiership in 2022.
Yeah. What about you, Trev? I know you're a big Eels fan, and I know you're not the biggest fan of Brad Arthur, but are you thinking Parramatta are going to have a big season, or what's your thoughts on the Eels this year?
I've got Parramatta 7th this year. I think they can win, but again, I've said it on the stream on Saturday night. I don't care if they go undefeated for the whole season, as if they have to win past the second week of the finals. That's all I care about this year. It's all I care about, and if not, Brad Arthur has to go. And honestly, I don't like the team they picked for round 1, really. Like, they put Jacob Arthur in number 17. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Like, you're going to put him in the 17? Like, instead of Mitch Rain, the guy you bought to help out Reid Marnie? And then you've got Nathan Brown in reserves and Bryce Cartwright. What are they thinking? What's he thinking? I know it's only against the Titans, but still. Parramatta, I don't care what they do throughout the season. I don't care if they come 1 to 8th, but if they don't get past the second week of the finals, then it's a fail.
Yeah. Paddy G, how's Parra going this year?
I agree with both Sam and Trev, even though they did put Parramatta in very different positions. I think there's 5 teams that are going to be battling for the premiership this year. I think Parramatta are one of them. But I also agree that we won't get a good read on Parramatta until late August and September, potentially even October. But I think if they get to the grand final, that'll be a good year for them. I don't agree with the drama, especially in this day and age when clubs can just rinse you. And it's part of the game now, the 1 year away. Matt Burton, he didn't shy away. So many players. I think that's a pretty poor attitude, to be perfectly honest. They have a decent backline. They have probably the second best spine in the comp. They have like a near top 5 player in every single position. I feel like if Dylan Brown can become the X factor that we tipped him a couple of years ago, then they could almost compete with the Storm for the best spine, and they have a great forward pack. So this is Parramatta's best chance, but it's probably their last chance because I think they're going to go into a little rebuild when Reid Marnie and a few of the boys leave up at the end of this year.
That's what it feels like, doesn't it? Next year might be the rebuild. This could be their last year to win it. Hayden, how will Para go this year, your boys? Are they gonna win the comp, or are they just gonna make the finals again?
Mate, I hope they're going to win the comp. I think this will be the last year for at least 2 years. Early prediction that we'll probably see Parramatta in the top 6. I still think they've got a top 8 roster when some of those players leave. Josh Hodgson coming to the club. I'm not huge on, but I still think he can fill those shoes next year. But as for 2022, they put the same side on the field besides Blake Ferguson, a team that came so close against Penrith. And I've got to admit, I don't really like the promotion. I like the way that they filmed it was cool, but I don't know if you guys saw it on the Eels Instagram with the heartbreak of what happened last year and how angry the players were and things. And then the other thing is we've beaten the Melbourne Storm twice in 2021, who were a quality side with that record-breaking run. So I put them in second in the regular season in regards to wins, but I still think the lowest they'll finish is 4th or 5th. I don't think they'll finish below 5th in my opinion, but I think we've got the roster to make the top 4, and I've got us going out in the prelim, but I hope Sam's prediction's right in us playing Eastern Suburbs in the grand final.
All right, I'm about to piss off the entire live chat, I reckon. The Parramatta Eels will not play finals in 2022. They are gone. Brad Arthur is a failure of a coach. If Brad Arthur got sacked tomorrow, no one in 5 years' time would even remember Brad Arthur for doing anything because it'd be the same thing. Out second week, out second week, out second week. And Trevor's right about what he said. If the Eels don't get past second week, the season don't mean fuck all. It's the same thing with Parramatta. 2017, when they made the finals for the first time in ages, they went out in straight sets. 18 wooden spoon, 19 they went out second round, 2020 second round, 2021 second round. How many more times are they going to go out second round before it mentally really hurts the club? Apparently, Junior Paulo's watched the game against Penrith about 20 times, apparently he said, which I think is a good and a bad thing as well. Mentally, it'll really get him fired up, which I find a good thing as well. But I think they've gotten weaker. I think the backline's weaker now. I think no Sivo to the halfway mark is a big blow. Dunster's a big blow as well. Simonson's a good pickup. Sean Russell's not bad as well, but compared to Sivo and Ferguson at the start of last year, it's a massive loss. Wagga Blake's always a bit of a question mark. He's a very up and down player. Hennessini, he goes well, but he hasn't even played 10 games yet, so it's hard to really get a read on him. I like the forward pack, but don't know, man. I feel like the Bankwest Stadium effect, it's not going to be a fortress anymore. Every club's played enough games there. Everyone knows Bankwest Stadium now. You go there, no one's afraid to go there and win. I mean, teams like the Queensland teams haven't played a lot of games there, like Titans, Cowboys, and they haven't played much games there. But other teams, all the Sydney clubs have played there. They all know the game, so I wouldn't say it's a big fortress anymore. I have a lot of concerns, and with other players leaving at the end of the year, I don't think they can mentally be up for the full season. Like, you look at someone like Melbourne, for example. You got the Bromwich brothers leaving, Kafusi, all these sort of players, right? Melbourne will put it all together and they'll go out and do it because I've done it before. Parramatta, every time someone big's leaving at the end of the year, it always blows up. I remember about a couple of years ago, some of the big names were leaving, and everyone thought the Eels were going to go good, and it ended up falling apart. So, look, I might be wrong about this, and I hope I'm proven wrong because I've got a lot of mates who are Parramatta fans. I want the Eels to win the comp, for God's sakes. I'm sick of them not doing anything. But I am concerned. I've got them missing the 8.
I can't agree with you, Nick. That thing about
no one will agree with me until the end of the year when it happens.
That thing about Brad, I think all Parramatta fans, to win the comp is such a hard thing. Demonstrated Parramatta have won in 36 years. But he took them to the top 4, back to the bottom, and then rebuilt them again to finish get eliminated finals week 2, 3 years in a row, which I think a lot of teams at the bottom of the ladder would take. So
but how many times does that not have to happen before it actually happens? Because there's some coaches, you can get a team from bottom 4 to top 4, but you can't get them to that next level. You need that coach who can get them there. And I'm sorry, but Brad Arthur, until he gets past week 2 of the finals, the bloke's a failure of a coach.
So can I just say this, and I'm not getting biased here, but can I just say, does that put Wayne Bennett's season with the Rabbitohs as a failure? Not last season, but they were continuously against the Roosters, against
could say
Penrith
that.
and
You
whoever
could
else it was. The three prelims there. So you've got a team going out in straight sets, or not straight sets, but going out in the prelims repeatedly. Does it come down to that coach being a failure for that season? Because Wayne Bennett, in my opinion, is one of the best coaches we've ever seen.
I just find it hard where how can Parramatta, how can the Eels deal with week 2 eliminations year after year before something happens? Because until they get someone who knows how to get them past week 2, they're not going to do fuck all. I'm sorry, they're not going to do fuck all. I want them to win the comp, but they're not going to do it with Brad Arthur. I just can't see it. Go buy Shane Flanagan, give him 2 years, and they'll fucking win it. Until then, they won't do nothing.
I know you probably won't like to hear this, but I know they were robbed pretty much each year. But didn't the Cowboys have 3 straight early finals X's and they went on to win the comp next in 2015?
Yeah, but we had a different coach. We got rid of Neil Henry. We
But you didn't know Paul Green could prove he could win a comp before that. And what gives me such great confidence is Parramatta, even though I hope they go to 37 years without a comp, because screw Parramatta, with the greatest respect.
I need to break the drought soon.
Will they, though, if they don't get it done this year? If they beat Melbourne early in the season at home, when it was wet conditions and it was Melbourne's perfect game, they then, after getting slapped by Manly, Roosters, and that probably those 2 games cost them a top 4 spot, they went and ended Melbourne's winning record run, and they're a Reid Marnie away from beating the team that ended up winning the premiership.
Well, there's the problem there. You beat Melbourne twice, but they can't go out. They can't beat any other top 4 team. They beat Melbourne. Well done. Can't fucking beat Penrith.
With the Roosters top 4, beat the Roosters early in the season at home.
The Roosters got a reserve grade team.
They still were in top 4.
The Roosters came 6th or 5th, I think. No, 6th.
Yeah, it was a
Okay,
beat.
right, yeah.
They couldn't even beat Souths, and Souths were probably just a little bit better than Parramatta. But if you look both teams on paper, there isn't much between them.
I think when a lot of people are writing off Parramatta, I hate myself for saying this. A lot of people are going to write off Parramatta, and a lot of people are tipping Manly. Parramatta did a lot better against the elite sides than Manly did last year.
If Parramatta win the comp this year, I will run into Woolworths in my underwear. If they win the comp this year, no way they're going to win the comp.
Yeah, but winning the comp and not playing the finals is a very different thing.
They won't make that ever.
Failure.
What is the difference between the two? That's making that's a fail of the second week and then not making the 8. What's the difference? Like for them right now, like what makes the difference from year to year that's going to make them go so bad now?
Well, it can only happen so many times. You make the finals year after year, keep going out week 2.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
Mentally,
anything.
It's got to hurt the players.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything during the middle of the year. Like they're still going to beat the shit teams. They're still going to beat the Cowboys. They're still going to beat the Dogs.
Hang on.
Still going to beat.
That reminds me of the Sharks, because you mentioned the Sharks who were making up the numbers for finals and repeatedly going out week 1 of the final, and they couldn't even beat a top 8 fucking team.
Yeah.
And I think what the difference is, it's not only just the top 5 teams. They're the only teams really, maybe top 6 if you include Cronulla, but they all have the best players in the best positions, but they also have the best coaches. And while I don't think we're going to see 50-plus scorelines every week, I still think the gap between the top 5 teams, top 4, and then a Manly with a healthy Turbo and everyone else is a massive difference. So I don't think Parramatta will have to worry about their regular season. That's why I've got them in 5th, because I think Brad Arthur will want to time his run perfectly heading into finals.
If he knows how. And I don't know, man. I'm really intrigued, but at the end of the year, we'll come back and we'll look at this and we'll see who was right and wrong. And if I'm wrong, then I'll cop it. I will definitely cop it. But
just like the
Titans
tattoo.
To be fair, I agree with everything you said about Brad Arthur. I hate him.
Oh, you got to have bold predictions.
You know,
Everyone's got a bold prediction somewhere. I mean, I was reading the Telegraph today, and I saw someone had the someone had the Titans for the spoon. And although I don't like the Titans, there's no way they're going to win the wooden spoon.
Someone had the Bulldogs in 4th on YouTube. Sorry, but that's what I think of that prediction.
What
are you talking about, man? They're the
idiot.
best team. 4th best team.
Pardon?
They got Matt
Why are you
Burton.
doing so much? No, I'm kidding. It wasn't me.
Matt Burton, best in the world.
Best center in the world.
That was fun, Parramatta. Parramatta are fun. We'll talk about them again probably at the end of the year when we do a review on it. Let's go to the Dragons. I'm really excited for the Dragons this year. I reckon they're one of the most exciting teams going into this year. I'm really keen to see how they go. ProEnzo, Vidz, what are your thoughts on the Dragons going into this year, and do you reckon they're in for a big year? What do you reckon, bro?
I'll be honest when I say I think Dragons look good, especially some of the young signings. But again, I'm not as high as them as what other people are. Like I'm not really going to say, oh, they'll make the 8 and everything like that. I think I'll just miss it personally. I think 10th. I like the direction they're going in. You know, I think they are going through what's the word? Like, going for the right direction. Everything they're going with the sign. Again, I can't trust them. But I do think there's a bit of up for them. Like I think, you know, Slane's in for a big season personally. You know, he's obviously a rookie, and I think he'll get better over time. You know, the Bellins had a full preseason now, so yeah, it's hard to tell. It really is hard to tell. Like I can easily have them in the top 8 over Raiders now with the situation there with Fogarty. But no, look, I don't know. Dragons, they'll go all right.
Sam, will the Dragons finish higher than last year? Will they make the top 8, or will they another year away for the top 8?
Well, they finished a couple of wins outside the top 8 last season. I think they're going to be a couple of wins better this year, but I still think they're going to just miss out on the top 8, whether that be by 1 win or points differential. Tyrell Sloan, I think he's going to be in for a massive season. Ben Hunt could be a Dally M prospect by the end of the year. And I like their forward pack as well, albeit my concern is that they are an old forward pack, in my opinion, besides the odd 1 or 2 here and there. But I like the Dragons. I think they'll be a couple of wins better compared to what they were last year, and they'll flirt with the top 8, even be in the top 8 for a little while, but I think they'll just miss out.
What do you reckon, Trev? Are the Dragons going to play finals this year, or are they another year away?
Yeah, I think that's a real 50-50. They're either going to be like 9th, 10th, or 7th or 8th. It's not really much between those teams normally anyway. It's normally points for and against or something. But, you know, I think the Dragons, you know, they again, you said there were a couple wins outside the 8 last year. They lost like 8 in a row to finish the season. They, you know, after, you know, all the shit that happened. I like how they bought George Burgess, even though they're not playing him. I don't get why they're not playing him. And also, it seems like they got something against Tarek Sims, who's also out this week as well, which is, I think that's bullshit. Why they got that's? I think he's great. I think both of them, like them two are both better than Jack Gawesky. I don't know how to say his name is Gasecki, and you know, and Blake Laurie's fine, but you know, he's no George Burgess. If he comes good, George Burgess, that is. But you know, I think again, Ben Hunt's the real key here. If he goes well, they're in with a real nice shot.
Apparently, Tarek Sims isn't playing because he didn't play any trials. Apparently, he hasn't got any match fitness. And look, with all due respect to the Warriors, the Dragons, they're only playing the Warriors. I mean, match fitness against the Warriors won't be too bad. I mean, come on.
Just play. You got to play him then. Like, to get match
fitness,
put him on the bench.
Play. If you have to, put him on the bench. Dr. Jessica, I don't even know how he made this team. He's got me buggered. Paddy G, will the Dragons play finals or not yet?
I don't think they will. I know we just had a fat discussion about Parramatta, but I feel like a lot of people have 7 teams locked into that top 8, the top 6 from last year, the Cronulla Sharks, and there's going to be a lot of teams fighting over that remaining spot. For me, this isn't really a negative thing, but they're the most basic NRL team ever. They've got a good back line, a good captain, a decent forward pack. They've got some veterans with some young guns coming through. I think it may take a year of consistent first grade from guys like Sloan, Amone to get used to first grade. And I think that'll have if they can come out of the block straight away, then I think they can snag 8th spot. For me, they're between 8th and 11th.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you, Entertain House? Will the Dragons make the finals or not yet?
Mate, they've starting to have a really balanced roster. I think they've made some regrettable signings for the year. I think Moses Mbai is a really stupid decision when you've just gotten rid of Corey Norman. I saw your comment on my video, by the way, Sam. I loved it, the barbed wire. But I've got the Dragons in 12th. I've got them just avoiding the bottom 4. I know that last year they had a fantastic season, and without the barbecue, they probably play finals. And I think they return to the finals arena soon. But I don't think this year's the year, especially with some of the signings. You mentioned George Burgess is a great choice, but Tarek Sims, I just want to bring it up again. He should be in that side. He's a consistent performer. And there are some young players mixed with some veterans, but I think there's some other teams above him this year in the race for the top 8.
Didn't Tarek Sims play Origin last year at some point?
And he was really good.
So good.
And they're so worried about his match fitness for round 1. That's just ridiculous for me.
They're trying to move him on early, I reckon. That's what they
definitely are.
Flano, he would take up so much of the cap because he probably re-signed when he was an Origin player before. I know he still technically is now, but he probably doesn't get a look in if Crine's out. Anyway, different conversation. I think they want him gone so they could probably re-sign a few young guns, but teams do this all the time. They put you in reserve grade. Look, mate, do you want money in your next contract? Take a pay cut now. Otherwise, you're going to play a year in reserve grade, and then you'll sign for the minimum somewhere else.
What do you reckon he's worth?
Oh,
600 a season?
650K, yeah, around that.
Yeah, I think so.
5, 6.
You can't be on much more than that, really.
No,
Especially a
it wouldn't
team
be.
like, with all due respect, the Cowboys, the Tigers, who probably need a leader and need a back rower. I reckon they could probably pay overs, maybe even push towards a 7 for him because you just
Cowboys return for Tarek Sims on the cards. Would you like that?
What
Nick?
about Parramatta? They're losing Papali'i next year, and Madison could be on the way out. Maybe Parramatta.
I think they have a lot of second goals.
Yeah, but I don't hate that. I think next year with Tigers with Luciano, with Isaiah Papali'i and Tarek Sims, that's a great back row.
Can I just also jump in as well and say that I heavily disagree with the people that have Dragons as the wooden spoon as well. I think that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Anyone that has Dragons for the wooden spoon has something wrong with them. There's no way they're getting the wooden spoon. There are worse teams than the Dragons.
I've got RXYSV2 with me right now, and he's talking to my name, but he's predicted the Dragons to get the wooden spoon this year. Just doesn't think that they're going to get enough wins over those teams. And they were actually equal favourites in betting at one stage. So
I know.
Outrageous.
I reckon the Dragons will play finals. I reckon they're in for a big year. I love what they've got. They've got lots of youth and experience, all in the sort of one. I think Ben Hunt at halfback is great experience. Amone's a good kid. Sloan's a good young fullback. McCullough's an experienced hooker. So they've got a bit of youth and experience in the spine. That back line excites me as well with Ramsey, Lomax, Sully, Ravalawa. That could be anything on their day. And then you've got guys in the front row like Blake Laurie. He was a nobody 3 years ago. He's obviously improved a lot now. Woods, experience. He'll do a job. Woods, whether you like him or you want to make a meme out of Warren Woods, he did a great job last year. And I think the speed of the game has really helped him. Jack Bird in the back row looks really good in the Charity Shield. I'm keen to see how he goes. It's Jaden Sewer, grand final experience. He's an Origin player as well. Jack DeBellin. I'm telling you right now, Jack DeBellin, a full off season from Jack DeBellin. I reckon Jack DeBellin will be the lock of the year. I reckon he's in for a massive season. I'm really keen to see how he goes under a full preseason. And some of the bench players I've got, you've got the likes of Molo's okay for the bench. Josh Kerr can do a job. Alvaro's okay. Jaden Sullivan coming through as well. I've got some other terrific young kids there as well. I reckon the Dragons are going to play finals this year. I reckon I'll finish 7th. And I reckon Anthony Griffin is the right man for the job too. I really like the Dragons this year.
Nick, from positives. You go.
I think Aaron Woods has gone from one of the most overrated forwards in the game to one of the most underrated forwards in the game now.
Definitely.
He's been consistently good for the last 3-4 years. Ever since he went to the Dogs, left the Dogs, the Sharks. He was great at the Sharks the whole time.
Yes, no doubt.
I've always really rated Woods as a ball-playing front rower, and that's what you need in today's game. You know, offload, second phase play. That's why so many fullbacks are going 5'8".
Well, how good is it? You got Woods and Laurie in the front row. Woods will ball play. DeBellin will ball play as well. You got Burgess coming off the bench. Burgess, Molo, and Tarek Sims yet to come back into the side. I'm telling you, man. Once the Dragons get their full team on the paddock, no injuries. Lorenzo's just Dodo at the moment. Dragons are going to do some really good things this year. I like them a lot. I think they're a team of the future. I reckon they could be top 4 in maybe 2 years' time. But at the moment, I reckon they're playing finals.
Since we've heard some positives, I just want to turn this round to give the negative. You've tipped them for the wooden spoon. Why?
Well, since the Dragons aren't a very good team, I'd suggest they are an alright team. But since they've got Moses Mbai, I just don't think they're a suitable side to fit in the top 8 and maybe the 14th side. I'm just going to go with the wooden spoon.
Well, that's the worst reasoning I've ever heard.
That was a man who was unprepared.
Very unprepared.
Because you got Moses Mbai.
He's not going to be the utility.
Put him in the reserves. They'll make the 8.
Well, Moses Mbai even be in the 17 when Jaden Sullivan's fit.
Well, unless Well, then what
I'd love
happens to
to
Jack
know.
Bird? Is he playing as like a forward on the bench? I thought if he
Jack
was
Bird's playing
expanding,
Jack Bird.
Jack Bird's go. Get him in your super coach, boys. Telling you. Big season.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jack Bird's going to be
oh
outstanding.
no
this year.
room for him.
Jack
And
Bird's the
Cody
X factor.
Ramsey. Cody Ramsey looks like a completely different person. I didn't even know who he was there at the Charity Shield. I think he cut his head.
Yeah, same.
I just think
Cody
Sloan's
Ramsey
the-
was the New South Wales Cup player last year. Now he's he's looking good, isn't he?
he actually looks pretty decent at fullback. I still think they'll go Sloan there and Ramsey on the wing, but I can sort of see why there was so much talk about it. Sort of.
All right, let's get on to the next team, the Green Machine, Canberra. A team that, it's so hard to get a read on them. I had them about 10th before the Fogarty injury. Now Fogarty's gone to like around 14 or something. Massive blow for Canberra. We'll start with you this time, Sam. Sam, will Canberra make the finals?
Look, mate, I did my ladder predictions about 10 odd days ago, and fuck me drunk, what a difference that makes. Fair income. I now don't see them inside the top 8 anymore. Jamal Fogarty, yeah, sure, it's a massive reason, but Ricky Stewart, man, it's all on Ricky Stewart for me personally. To not have Jared Croker in the side, I think, is disrespectful to who has been a massive club legend through a dry patch for the past 25 odd years, besides 2019 and 16. There's this other thing that came out about Ryan Sutton's missus that said something bad to Ricky Stewart today as well, and there's still some, yeah. But there's still enough talent in the side, but they had that same exact talent in the side last year, and just that they were the Canberra Faders last season. And I don't know, man. I just don't trust them now, man. I don't trust them to make the top 8.
What about you, Entertain House? Do you reckon Canberra make the finals without an organising halfback or no?
Mate, the Raiders are fucked. They've had some issues for a while now. I've got them actually 14th. I like this team. I like going down to Canberra, supporting him. You guys know how big I am on Josh Papali'i as well. But I used to like Jack Whiten and his form, but I just think even in Origin, he just looked terrible. And I'm really worried about him bringing that type of form into the year. I think I had him in Supercoach originally, and I've gotten rid of him because I just think there's no real leadership at the moment with the club as well. So I'm really, really worried about him. I think they'll still be dangerous at home at GIO and get a couple wins, but I think Ricky Stewart, again, he's a protected coach, but he could be on the outer with some of the decisions he's making. And just as you mentioned, with the girlfriend of Ryan Sutton, and then you've got George Williams' distraction last year, an inexperienced halfback. Brad Snyder's still a good player, but there's a lot of issues for me with Canberra this year. I'm really worried about them. I'd go as far as saying that they're in a battle for the wooden spoon.
Oh, fuck. Canberra fans are going to start throwing their fucking milk on their jerseys
Paddy
again.
G, the Canberra fans, pretty angry at that one.
What about you, ProEnzo Vidz? Hopefully your connection's working better. I don't know what happened before, but it's all good, bro. Canberra, will they do anything this year? Will they make the finals?
Dodo.
Give me Pepsi Max.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
sorry about that before, bro. I mean, that was my bad. But anyway, yeah, look, we think, yeah, it's hard to solve Canberra. Like, I think Canberra, Fogarty being out and everything like that, you know, it obviously takes a lot away and whatnot. But yeah, look, no, I still don't change anything. You know, once I predicted it, so I'm not gonna change it now. So yeah, I think they'll go all right. It's up to Ricky really as well. I think Ricky's obviously in for a big season if he has to, like, you know, because obviously, yeah, you know, Raiders they miss the finals again, then he's in trouble. But like if they have to improve. Simple. I'm glad everyone's laughing, but about my connection, by the way.
No,
Sorry,
sorry,
no, it's
bro.
hilarious.
There's
very
nothing
funny.
we can do. It's just funny, you know. We're not laughing at you. We're laughing at your connection. You can't win them all, bro. Everyone has bad connections. I mean, I'm using my fucking hotspot, and I'm somehow doing well with the connection. I don't know how. Fucking Optus for you. Up Optus. What about you, Trev? Will Canberra play finals, or do you reckon they're fucked?
I thought they were in a real top 8 fight there until Fogarty got injured. Because I think Fogarty makes Whiten work, who makes the backs work, who makes everyone else work. Without him, they're gone. I'll have him 12th. without him, because I think when Fogarty does come back, they'll start getting a few wins up. I think they're in a real fight now. And Ricky Stewart won't be. He won't be sacked. He's best mates with the CEO. He's there for as long till he dies. So having Croker out, I don't really care about that. Like if you're not good enough, you're not good enough.
Though. I do hope he
Who
plays.
cares? If you're not like again, if Ricky Stewart's in as much danger as some of you think he is, then you need to put your best team out there. And Croker just isn't in the best team at the moment. Is Sebastian Chris injured? Is he injured? He's COVID. Okay, because I'm looking at their team right now, and they got Schiller and Sebastian Chris he was one of my favorite players, or he is one of my favorite players at the moment. I love him. I was hoping Parra got him, but I think Jamal Fogarty, although not the best player, he just makes everyone else their best self. So but not now. They're gone. What
about you, Paddy? Will they make the 8?
Nick, man, can I just ask, like, I know you said that if you're not playing well enough and all that, maybe he shouldn't be picked and all that. And this is to you again, Trev, mate. I just want to ask, man, like, he's gone through so much in the off season, going through that stem cell surgery or what have you, man. He's done so much, more than a lot of other players have. And for all that he's done, doesn't he deserve that respect to make that team in round one, though? I'm really knocked off at Ricky Stewart for not putting him in the centre in round one this weekend.
I get what you're saying, but he's still gone through a whole off season to prove himself to get into that first team, and he still hasn't shown what he's got. Maybe it doesn't millions of people have tried probably harder than some NRL players even make the NRL, and they haven't even made it. So you could do whatever you want, but if you're not the best, you're not the best. And you're out there to win, not to give someone their 300th game. Just 2 years ago, I thought he was going to break the record for most points, most games. All of a sudden, he can't stand up on one leg.
Yep. Dennis, sorry, let the Raiders fan Paddy G now answer, mate, considering the jumper he's got
Paddy
on.
G's turning into a bloody bandwagon. What's that?
Up the 2 out of 4 clips.
So the Raiders will win the minor premiership and So I kind of spoilt my entire opinions here because I've said the first 7 are locked in. I think the Raiders will be fighting for that 8th to 10th spot, even with Jamal Fogarty being out. I was concerned when he was out because I thought they would throw Sam Williams in. They've gone Brad Schneider, who did look really impressive in the trial games, and I was paying closer attention to it because it was against Manly, and we did kind of choke. But anyway, I just really rate their roster. I think they have a backline that could probably compete with the top 5 teams. They have one of the best forward packs in the competition. They have Papali, who's had to deal with no boxing bullshit in the off season. And Joseph Tarpanay, I mean, he's been a wrecking ball in trial games and the All-Stars. The only really problem, I think, is that we've seen a big drop-off in Josh Hodgson's form. And I think Tom Starling will get that 9 spot. But from watching the trial games again, but through the juniors and stuff, they probably have one of the better junior systems in the NRL. And on that Jared Croker thing, I think that's why he's throwing all these young guys in. Because if the season does kind of go to shit, Ricky can be like, well, look, I've blooded Xavier Savage because I've had to put Chance in the 14. I've put Matty Tomoko in. I've put James Schiller in. I've given Schneider 16 games a season. So I feel like, I don't know. I think they're just giving me that battle for the 8. I did kind of dribble there, but I'm going with battling for the 8.
I don't even want to talk about Canberra. I reckon they're one of the most yuckiest teams going into the season now. Without an organising halfback, they are going to be dog shit. The Raiders, for mine, they will be in the bottom 4. I've got them about 13th or something, 14th. I think 13th. I reckon Jack White is the most overrated player in the game. He has really dropped off a cliff, hasn't he? Last year, he was absolutely dreadful. And look, with all due respect, ever since George Williams left, everyone else with Jack White has been shithouse. I mean, it seems like Jack White was George Williams' bit for a while. That's what it seemed like to me. Sam Williams, Matt Frawley, New South Wales Cup players at best. Brad Schneider's played 1 trial game. Never heard of him up until then. I don't see how he's going to improve him unless he comes out to be this massive young rookie superstar. But I'm not keen for Canberra. I love their 4-pack, but that's it. I don't like anything else about them. I think they're fucked.
I just think that besides that 7 jersey, their roster is pretty bloody good.
Adam Elliott is a stupid signing as well, in my opinion.
I think he's a great signing. Who cares?
They're going to buy someone who's got off-field dramas, cheating on Michael Leish's missus, doing all sorts of dumb shit, alcohol problems with the Dogs. Going to Canberra's not really a good environment. Just like Curtis Scott.
I will say this, Nick. I'll say this. Look, you got to put that to one side. And what he did, I know it's just a trial, but what he did against the West Tigers, he came in at dummy half and he did some nice things and helped the Raiders get that victory over the Eastern Suburbs in that first trial. So I think it is a good signing. I think he will. I agree with Trev. I think he will actually do some good things for him this season. But putting that aside as a person, that's a completely different subject.
Put him in the bin.
I know Adam Elliott. I know you guys gave him a bit of shit, mainly Nick. Anyway, that's off topic. What Adam Elliott off-field discretions, I think anyone can fix that if you get him in the right system. But on the field, he was the Bulldogs' best player for a couple of years when they were doing shit, when they were losing by 30 every game. So it's not from a lack of trying. He's obviously a resilient bloke, at least on the field. But I'm a broken record here. I just really like their roster, and it's got some good youth to it too.
The Raiders won't even win 10 games this year.
What's with their players' girlfriends going off of Ricky Stewart? What's he done to him?
Oh, mate. I didn't even want to talk about this. But
what's he done to him, Joseph Tarpany. Jeez.
All right. Can NRL players' wives and girlfriends just shut their fucking mouth and let the players talk to the coach instead of going on social media like a bunch of fucking children? Fuck me. They're professional athletes and they're carrying on like they're in fucking politics. Jesus Christ.
And I will say what you said about Jack Whiten. He just had a bad season last year, but the year before he's Dalian Player of the Year. He needs a good halfback. He's not a organising player. He needs someone inside him. That's why they bought Jamal Fogarty. You know.
Yeah. I wasn't even convinced with Jamal Fogarty either because he's only had one good year in his career. I wasn't even convinced by Jamal Fogarty. But
it's because he played for the Titans, is that right? Or
no. No, but honestly, players' wives who go on social media and say, "Oh, my boyfriend or my husband should be getting picked. This is bullshit." They just need to shut the fuck up and let the men fucking deal with it. It's not NRLW.
It's such a personal thing, but I feel like either Ryan Sutton's like going, "Wait, can you do this because I'm gonna get to the Bulldogs now?" Or he'd be going, "Oh, why the fuck did you open your phone and post that?"
You got no idea how fucking mad I got when I read this last night. I got so fucking mad. I had to go for a run up the street. I was that fucking mad. Fucking pissed me off. I'm fucking mad just talking about it. Fuck!
I didn't even.
Players' wives and girlfriends, shut the fuck up.
She just said
let the men talk to the coach. Fuck the women, man.
She just said the NRL's more bitchy than the fashion industry.
Oh, mate, it's not fucking politics.
That's
man.
what she just bitched about it. What an idiot. All right.
Let's move on. Fuck the Raiders. I hope I have a bad year. I don't give a flying fuck about Canberra. Let's go to Newcastle. With all due respect, they're just like Canberra. They're going to go fucking shit too. Newcastle bottom 2 confirmed. Sam, thoughts on the Knights this year?
Yeah, you and I spoke about it, and it was you that brought it up, though. But it hit me like a bolt of lightning that their attack in the trials, albeit just a trial, their attack was not good looking at all.
Exact same as last year.
And it was the exact same as last year. It hit me like a bolt of lightning when you mentioned that, mate. I completely agree. Look, Clune and Clifford by themselves are good players, I would say. But together, we just don't know what's going to go down. I don't trust Kalen Ponga either. I think defensively, they're going to get driven backwards as well at times, especially against the likes of Manly or Parramatta. I've got them finishing between 13th and 15th.
Yeah, well said. I couldn't agree more. Entertain us. Do you reckon Newcastle will make the finals for a third year in a row, or are they gone?
Knights are going to have a shocker. I had them in my top 4 last season, which was outrageous. But this season, I've got them at the back of the bottom 4 in 13th position. You mentioned Clifford and Clune. I think they'll be a nice combination. Now, Kalen Ponga is one of my favourite players in the game, but I tell you what, he's very rocks and diamonds. When he's on, he's on. But when he's not, he's fucking not. And I think more often he's not. And that's one of the things I really worry about. They were sucking him off in that Fox League promo. You'll see it tomorrow night. They literally said, Kalen Ponga, what will he do in 2022? And I'm just like, the same shit every year. But anyway, I've got the Knights in 13th. I think Dane Gagai's a nice addition, but defensively, he's still got some issues to work on. Attacking, great. And I really rate their young winger centre, Anare Tuala. I'm looking forward to another great season with him. Glad that he re-signed. And I think it could be David Clemens last year at the club before heading to the Super League. So wait and see how he goes.
If David Clemens is available, I'm fucking buying him. I'm signing him right now if he's available. What was I going to say? Fucking, yeah, Fox League. Oh, Kalen Ponga. Oh, fuck me. He's not fucking...
Did you see it?
He's not Billy Slater. I watched it on NRL 360. He's not fucking Billy Slater. He's not fucking Tommy Turbo. Jesus Christ. Lorenzo, where do you have Newcastle, mate? How are they going to go this season?
I think they're in the bottom four. I just think with the halves pairing of Cliff, it's going to take time for it to sort of gel. Like I said this before, I've said this a couple of times actually, without a real halfback, there's no direction and the players won't replicate any good form. So that's why it's going to be hard for the Newcastle Knight, or for the Knight, I should say, to do anything good this year. They still have a good forward pack. I mean, Saifidi, Barnett, it's still a good makeup of a forward pack, but just that I don't think without any good halves and without a hooker for most of the season as well, it's going to be hard to really see them create much, in my opinion. But yeah, I have them 15th place.
Gee, it's sad getting rid of Mitchell Pearce for Adam Clune. What a fucking downgrade that was. Jesus Christ. Trev, you reckon Newcastle will do anything this year?
Probably not. I actually disagree with them about one of you said about Newcastle going to be pushed back all season. And I actually think their forwards, they got top 5 forward pack in the NRL. They got like Clemmer, both the Saifidi brothers, Fitzgibbon, Frizzell. I don't like Kurt Mann at hook, lock or whatever. But the team, their team for round one is fine. It's completely fine. It's a team that we can win games. Their problem is they got no depth. There's absolutely nothing to them after it. Like if you look at their reserves for this week, Purcell, Hoy, Solo, Sasagi, Musgrove, Croker, and Lucas, who are they? Who's that? If they get three.
I was going to say, Trev, because you're saying about the how good their four pack is. Do you reckon we'll see a game like last year when they beat that full strength Manly side? Do you think there'll be games like that where they physically turn up and win those battles, or being like we've all got them seemingly bottom four? Do you think we won't see that type of form again?
I think that's how they have to play every single week if they want to win. Because I think they're not. I don't think they got a lot of points on them. I don't think that. I think Clune and Clifford, I think they're completely fine players. And, Dane Gagai will bring something. But will he actually be as good? He's good for South. So there was a lot of good players around him. Where in Newcastle, there's a lot of young players around him. And Bradman Best, his leg falls off at the sign of a tackle. So it's who knows what's going to happen. But, yeah, no depth in them. And that's the only reason. If they had, 5 or 6 more players that were sort of up to the level of their first grade side, I'd probably pick them close to the 8. And without Pearce, it could also sometimes be a blessing because you're going to have maybe a more consistent team where he was out for long stretches of the year. Pretty much every year you play with pec injuries, things like that. So they may be more stable, but I don't think they'll be as attacking, and I think their depth is shocking. So between 10 and 12 for me.
I love the signing of Dane Gagai, but fuck me. If Bradman Best couldn't get the ball with Mitchell Pearce in the side, how the fuck is Dane Gagai going to get the fucking ball? What
about if Kalen Ponga goes down and Tex Hoy at the fucking back again?
You might as well give him the spoon.
That's what I mean. Tex Hoy, Newcastle's next great hope, does nothing. He's done nothing in every game he's played.
What about you, Paddy G? How's Newcastle going to go this year?
I think the poor Knights have probably had the worst off-season. They've lost Brayley and Saifedi, who are probably their 2 captains last year. They've lost their best player from last year, Connor Watson. They've lost probably a top 5 halfback when he was fit, Mitchell Pearce.
Yeah.
But I will say that I don't think they have the roster. I think they could be in a spoon battle. That's where I've tipped them anyway. I don't know whether I'm lost in the magical eyes of Joey Johns, but if they have the smartest football brain of all time, and he did speak highly of Adam Clune pretty recently, if there's ever a man to get a team firing with 2 halves who aren't traditional your number 1 options, it's probably Joey. And Kalen Ponga, he's still only 23. Tommy didn't hit his stride till last year when he was 25. said he didn't get to the Roosters when he was 26, and there's still a lot of potential in Kalen Ponga. I feel like Joey could get the best out of him too, and I think the captaincy will suit him greatly. I had a feeling about the Dragons last year. I tipped them for the spoon, but there was a feeling around them that they could do something special. Until the Paul Vaughan barbecue, they're probably playing finals football. And for some reason, I think it's mainly because I'm biased to Joey, but I think they're the team that could do something really special this year.
Well, fair enough. For me, Newcastle will be 15th, second last. I think losing a great halfback in Mitchell Pearce is just going to hurt them. Losing their hooker as well in Jaden Bradley, that's a massive blow. Like they've got a guy at hooker who's a fucking reserve grade player at best. In was it Chris Randall? I think his name is. Good luck with that, Newcastle.
Simple yes or no. I'll go around everyone. So one at a time. I'll start. Kalen Ponga in 2023. Will he be at Newcastle? No. Sam?
No.
Look, his old man's there. I think it came out in the off season. No, I don't trust it. No.
Nick?
No, he's fucked. He's gone. Going to the Dolphins.
No. Dodo? Lorenzo?
What's wrong?
Never mind. Trev?
Yeah, he'll be there. He's the man in Newcastle.
Paddy?
I said no on my prediction video, so I'm going no.
Yeah, I think he'll be at the Dolphins.
I think the Knights are going to have a very tough season.
I do think just on that, if they had Brayley and Saifidi, they could have had a better start of the season. I think the start of their season is arguably more important than how they finish, because I reckon this season sort of is all about keeping Ponga. If they lose Ponga, they've got no one left there to basically recruit, and I think a lot of their players are probably going to walk out the door.
I think
I've got
Adam
a bold
O'Brien could be
prediction
first
about Newcastle.
coach sacked.
I've got a very bold prediction about Newcastle, and you guys are probably not going to agree with this, but Newcastle are going to be 0-10 to start the year.
Fucking what?
They're going to be 0-10. They're not going to win a game until Magic Round period.
Well, so that's the thing. So round 2, they host the West Tigers up there.
They won't win
Donald
that.
Jones, mate.
They won't win that one.
They lost that game last year.
They
by the way.
did too. But that's
Newcastle's
a massive game
first
for
couple
both
games,
sides.
they've got the Roosters in round 1. They'll lose that. They'll lose to the Tigers. Panthers will kill them. Sharks will kill them. Manly will kill them. Dragons will kill them. Parramatta will beat them. Melbourne will kill them. Cowboys will beat them at Townsville. Surely.
There you go. There's a lot.
They might beat the Dogs in Magic Round. They'll be 0-9 at least.
They'll beat the Cowboys. Nice implies.
Cowboys will
I
beat them at
reckon,
Townsville.
I reckon they'll be probably like 2-8 by round 10.
0-9 for the Knights. Bold call. 0-9.
2-8, 3-7.
They'd be lucky to
Adam
win.
O'Brien will be sacked before the end of the year for sure.
Oh,
I don't
gee,
I'm not going to ever
bloody
speak
hope
nicely about him.
I like Adam O'Brien.
But I actually think Kalen Ponga is poorly coached there. I think they don't set up plays for him. They set up plays for him to set up other players. They don't set up. He does the plays for other people. They don't set up, like they got to do things for him.
I think if anyone's smart enough to know how Turbo and Latrell and those guys play, because Joey has been involved in Origin camp.
Yeah.
Again, I may just be lost in the eyes, but I feel like if there's anyone who can get the best out of Ponga, it is Joey.
Yeah, I agree. Joey is their white hope there. And he doesn't
All
even
right,
play.
let's move on to the next club. Fuck
the
Newcastle.
best
They're going to have a
footy
shit year,
right
and we all agree they're going to go
Best
bad.
player of all time.
Let's go to Manly. The Tom Trebojevic Seagulls, or whatever you want to call them, they are a very good side. Sam, will the Seagulls be in the top 4 again, and are they contenders this year?
I've got them finishing in 5th based off my latter prediction the other week. I think other teams will be better than them throughout the season. It's going to be hard to replicate for Tom Turbo, but I'm going to really look forward to watching him play. I think they're a contender for the premiership, but I think, based on where I've put them, they're in 5th. They'll have a good year, and I think they'll be battling for a preliminary final spot.
Entertain us, are Manly contenders?
Well, based on my season preview, I had the Manly Seagulls. I've got them premiers this season. I've got them in 3rd position premiers, but I've been playing around with that ladder predictor, and I think they've got a pretty good draw. So
Yeah.
I think they're going to be minor premiers and maybe finish in 1st position. I still think it's such an open race between your Roosters, your Storm still to the premiership, but they need to fix their defense. That's the issue. If they can get their defense right, they're going to be a very threatening team. I was surprised to see Ola Kalatu back in the side this week, but it's a really nice start for the Sea Eagles. I'm really looking forward to seeing him perform tomorrow night. Foreign, I think he's definitely getting older, but he's still a great player, but he needs to be on and come up with some big plays. All that pressure can't be on DCE, and you can't just rely truly on Tom Trbojevic. But I don't think they're a one-man team. They've got a lot of fast outside backs, and I think they'll be in for a good year. So they're going to finish somewhere between first and third for mine.
Yeah, I agree. I think Manly definitely going to be in the top 4 contenders for sure. ProEnzo, Vidz, I hope your connection's a lot better, bro. Manly, are they top 4? Are they top 4 bound this year? Are they contenders? What do you think about Manly this year, bro?
Yeah, I got a lot to say, but I'll keep it nice and short. But yeah, no, I agree with what Hayden said. I think our defense is something that we need to fix. A couple of points around the end of the season, so I'm sure we'd like to sort of fix that, I guess, as well. But no, look, we've got the squad to do some good things, I reckon. I think Tom should have another good season. Got Four and Sherry Evans, a great halves pairing, and the pack looks good, and so does the back line, I think. So I think we should be in for a decent season. I've got us 4th place, so I think we'll be the same as last year. But there is a chance. I don't want to say a chance that we can win the premiership. I'm not going to any predictions just yet, but yeah. All I can say is that we've got a good squad, and I hope that's all.
Yeah. What about you, Trev? Do you reckon Manly are contenders this year? Will they be in the top 4 again?
Yeah, I've got him at 4th, but Tom Turbo needs to stay uninjured. If he gets injured for a long period of time, they could be in some trouble. I think everything they do is around him. Just like Kalen Ponga at Newcastle, everything they do is around him. They just have better players around Tom T.
Do you think Ruben Garrick could go to fullback and Cooler could get a spot on the wing if he does go down and they can actually win some games?
Definitely could happen, but I still don't think they're anywhere near as good without him. Like everything they do is off him. Every backline play, every run up the middle is just off him. Basically, it's I think they're great with him. Again, I think Cherry Evans gets a lot of props because of a lot of backup play that he does with Tom T. So yeah, it's up to whether he stays injured or not.
Yeah. What about you, Paddy G? Manly fan. We all know what you're going to say, but are they contenders?
Like I said earlier, I think there are 5 teams who are in a shootout for those 4 top 4 spots. One team will probably miss out. I don't think that's Manly. I think Manly can snag a top 4 spot. I don't think Turbo, because it was probably the greatest individual season ever, will replicate what he did. I think he could come close. His GI's body with Joey Johns' mind. But I think what's good for us is we have so many young players coming up. Garrick is going to come up with the biggest dick ever after breaking the points record. Harper and Parker, hopefully they're fired up, because if they have one bad game, Cooler's going straight in there and you don't want to give him a chance. Saab, hopefully he can improve his yardage coming out. I think that's where we struggle most with defense as well. It sucks too that we don't have Adam Fanua-Blake, because we are probably missing a marquee front rower. Hopefully Manasseh Fainu can sort out whatever that's going on, even though Croker, I think, will improve after having a full year at hooker under his belt. Chico Sekiaro, YKTR fame, maybe he can do something for the Blacktown workers and come in. It's probably a long shot. We've got 2 second rowers who probably could make their Origin debut this year. And Jake Trbojevic looks the fittest I've ever seen him. And in that trial game was snapping the fuck out of blokes. And I reckon Jakey knows that Cameron Murray and Yeo have overtaken him as the best 13 for Australia and New South Wales. And I think knowing him, he's going to want to get back to being that number 1 guy.
Without his brother, I think Jake Trbojevic is the blandest player in the NRL. Without his brother, he's nothing.
Yeah, but I could say that about I agree with you too. If Tom
because they do combos off each other all the time, which makes them both so exciting. But other than that, he's like the Josh Jackson.
No.
Poor Josh Jackson.
He's a better ball player. He can do more damage running.
No, yeah, better, but just still. Yuck.
No.
I reckon Manly will finish. I reckon they'll finish 4th. I reckon the top 4, same spot as last year. I still worry about Lachlan Croker at number 9. That's my only real concern. If they had a good hooker that was actually really good, I would probably have them for the comp. But until they get a better number 9 who can create more, and with all due respect, Brad Parker, I'm not a fan. They need a better center than Brad Parker. They're gonna regret letting go of Moses Suli. I'm telling you right now.
I really rate
Besides
Brad.
those two, I think Manly are a massive contender. But until they sort that out, I don't think they can win it.
I think Seguiara will be starting by the end of the year.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Gee, that'd be good.
He's exactly what they need.
If you watch
Carl Lawton's not a bad dummy half either, but Seguiara would be exciting, wouldn't
If
he?
you watch Fainu's 2019 and 2018 highlights before the set restart rule, he's doing shit that we're seeing on the dummy halves do now. He's got such a lethal fend on him for what was such a small bloke. He's probably not going to be as good, after coming back after all this time. I still think Croker can do a job. I know stats aren't everything, but last year he was, competing with guys like Brandon Smith and that. I know stats aren't everything, but he can do a job. But if we get Fainu back in there, best spine in the comp, maybe.
Hey, ProEnzo Vidz. Will Lachlan Croker run for at least 1 metre in round 1 this year?
I hope not. Not his job.
Oh, well, he didn't last year. He didn't last year, but he should this time. I mean, people think I still hate him, but no, I don't. He went well, so good luck to him. So.
With all due respect to Manly fans and other NRL supporters who are trying to improve, if you don't have a top 7 hooker in this competition, you can't win the comp. You need to have a good number 9, otherwise you get no chance. You need that creativity. You can't just throw in some average hooker and think you're going to win the comp. I don't care if you've got the best player in the world like Turbo. That's the only thing Manly are missing is a great hooker. That's all they're missing. But,
I think we're missing a front row more than a hooker.
Yeah, you probably are missing a front row as well. But look, I think Manly top 4 this year. We all reckon they'll be in the top 6 at least. So they should have a good year, the Seagulls. Let's move on to one that I think this conversation is probably about to get heated very, very big. This could be anything here. The Cowboys. This could get really heated. Me and Sam have got a bit to say about the Cowboys. Everyone else probably has them bottom 4, bottom 2. I have a very good reason why they won't be bottom 2, but I want to start with Sam first. Sam, why will the Cowboys avoid the bottom 4 this year?
Can you blame everybody for having them in the wooden spoon based off of the last 4 years, Nick? And let me explain that. Let me explain it. 2018, they were equal, if not clear, premiership favourites, and they let themselves down. They embarrassed the fans. They disappointed the general public. Between 2019 and 2020, I'd say 40% of the general public probably gave them a rough shot of making finals, and that was to no avail. In 2021, I'd probably say 10% gave them another rough shot of making finals, and they produced the worst season in a decade, North Queensland last year. But I think everyone that's tipping them for the wooden spoon, I can't blame them because the trust has been broken that much. But I'll tell you is that I think you all are going off just a little bit too early. The Cowboys are not going to win the wooden spoon because I believe in their depth. And the extreme positive side of me sees them making the top 8. I've got to back my team. You can't blame me for not wanting and picking my team to be in the top 8. Realistically, I haven't said this, I don't think, publicly online. I think that they will finish somewhere between 11th and 14th in 2022. I think when you look at our spine, Hammer, has everybody forgotten how insanely talented this young man is? He might need a little bit of work on his defence, but you remember his Auckland Nines tries? Unreal. The Leichhardt Oval try he scored in the 3rd minute last season? Absolutely sensational. The halves, I understand people's qualms with it. But Chad Townsend is learning under Jonathan Thurston with Matt Scott coming in, helping him and teaching him how to be a better captain and a better leader. Learning off of Matt Scott, it's only going to be a great thing, and Jonathan Thurston. Tom Dearden now has got that 5 at spot. Todd Payton's come out and said the reason for that is because he's a better defender than Scott Drinkwater. Scott Drinkwater missed more tackles than anybody else last season. So they're already taking a step in the right direction of making sure the right man is in the right place to do the right job. And then our hooker, you was talking about hookers. I bet you Manly Seagulls fans, if it came out in 24 hours that Reece Robson, who was allegedly homesick, I bet you'd all jump up in the friggin' air and do jumping jacks if Reece Robson was announced to go down to the Manly Seagulls as well. I think we have great youth coming through. It may not be the biggest pool, but we got great depth coming through in the form of the Highland Lukies and Nanais, and you've chuck in Hamiso Tapuai for dough as well. I do anyway. Our defense in that trial against the Brisbane Broncos was as good as I have seen it in 2 seasons. I know it's a trial, but I can't help but see what I saw. And what I saw was probably the most committed defensive effort that I've seen in 2 seasons, albeit it was against a trial. It was in a trial against the Brisbane Broncos side that were at 6s and 7s. I don't think they're going to win the wooden spoon. I think everyone's going off a little bit too early. And it sucks because you and I, Nick, haven't experienced this sort of off-season in about 10 or 11 years since 2009, 2010, when they were a bee's dick away from winning that wooden spoon. So it's been a really nasty off-season. But, hey, that's footy. You got to cop it. I know that Manly fans were copping it a few years ago and Parramatta fans were copping it. So, look, Cowboys, they're going to come out in 2022. They're going to come out this Sunday. They fucking better. And they're going to get the win against the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Realistically, I got them finishing between 11th and 14th. But the supporter in me believes in the group and the strides that they're taking to get better. And I think that they can nab a top 8 spot come September.
I fucking hope you're right. I really do. What about you, Hayden? I know you've got the Cowboys for the wooden spoon, and Sam, well said, brother. Appreciate that. Was good. What do you reckon about the Cowboys? Like, do you reckon they're going to be wooden spoon, or can they avoid the bottom 4? What do you reckon, Hayden?
I think they're definitely a team that'll make the bottom 4. Whether they can avoid the spoon, probably yes. They have got a lot of depth, young guns coming through, and players that have started to become more experienced, especially Kyle Felt, fantastic player nonetheless. I think they've made the step in the right decision of Tom Dearden over Scott Drinkwater. I still have a few question marks over some of the forward pack. Jordan McLean. I did like his defense from what I saw in the trial, dragging players back. And I know it's only a trial, but I think it's pretty good to go off that game. But overall, last year there was 9 to 11 games in a row. I think it was 10 games that the Cowboys lost in a row. And that just showed me just how bad they can potentially go this season. But you look at teams like the Tigers, the Raiders, I think they'll be in the fight for the wooden spoon with the Cowboys. And ultimately, the Cowboys have disappointed for years. I had this team in the top 8 last year or the year before, or even both. And Valentine Holmes, they spent all that money on, and he just hasn't proven himself as that. So I think they're going to finish 16th, but I feel sorry for you Cowboys fans. And greatly said, Sam.
Lorenzo, I know you're another one that's got the Cowboys for the wooden spoon, and I just hate saying wooden spoon for my bloody Cowboys, but can they improve besides bottom 4, bro? Can they avoid it?
Oh, well, look, I will say one good thing about the Cowboys is that they do have some good young players. Like, there is a couple of good rookies there that, you know, I think have potential to be good. I like Luke, I like Nanai. These guys are the future. I think if they can retain them. But, no, look, I don't know. I think for me, just someone, you know, they will have games, but I just don't like that they will be bottom 4 for sure. As I said, wooden spoon for this year. But again, you know, I just think that I can't trust them. I think their squad's a bit unbalanced as well in a way, and I think they're missing that real front rower as well. I feel like as well in a way. So, look, like I said, you know, it's obviously a prediction. I could be wrong, but. No, this is what I'm going off as right now, and I don't think Cowboys will improve.
Yeah, all right. What about you, Trev? Can the Cowboys avoid bottom 4? Can they improve?
No, they can't avoid it. They're the wooden spooners this year. I think they're overpaid in the wrong places. overpaying a center $1 million, overpaying a player they don't want to play to his full potential until for another 5 years. I think the Hammer is their best player on that team. You know, but like the last year, Hammer was their best player. We don't know how Tamalolo is injured too much to even be getting paid that much, let alone play like, you know, to his full potential. You know, I think their reserves are almost better than their actual team this week. Like they got Dejan Arce, Ben Condon, Brendan Elliott, Lumilu they all should be almost in the team with how bad their team is at the moment. You know, like they got Nanai, you know, Lukey, Tamara Brown. I think their reserves are better. And but I will say I actually really like Robson at hooker.
Yeah, love him.
He's good. And Hem, like as much as I hate the Cowboys, Hemmer's one of my favorite players to watch every week.
You saying that just reminded me, Cowboys fans, Nick and Sam, what do you think of Jake Granville, one of their best players arguably last season, made a huge impact, being left out of the side this weekend? That was a big shock to me.
I'll get into it in a minute, but it's Todd Payton for you. It's Todd Payton.
Yeah, I think Granville was one of their best players last year. He came in and filled in everywhere. He played center, he played fullback for a game. Like, you know, and they don't have him in there. I know they really rate Cotter, but you've got to fit Granville in there somewhere, especially when you've got Gilbert at 17.
Cotter was horrible in that Indigenous game.
Yeah, but who cares about that game? It's I think I just think they're overpaid in the wrong places, and they're just, you know, it's just they don't gel. There's no gelling. Holmes gets the ball and doesn't pass it. He never passes it. The only time he ever passes if he's back on the line and doesn't think he can make a break.
He doesn't know how to pass the ball anyway. I've had it with Val Holmes. Everyone knows how I feel about Valentine Holmes. Paddy G, can the Cowboys avoid the bottom four? Can they? Is there some grit of hope that they can improve this year?
I know how passionately Sam just spoke then, and again, this is all opinion, but I am going to try and debunk it a little bit. I do agree with Trev that they're overpaid in the wrong places. To me, it's with the Tigers as one of the weakest rosters. Obviously, I don't have a good understanding, but outside of Lukey, Nanai, and the Hammer, I don't see a lot of youth that even a team like the Bulldogs have. I think that it's just like the Hammer's probably the most exciting talent, but again, he hasn't burst onto the scene. He's fun to watch, but he hasn't burst onto the scene like a Reece Walsh or a Sam Walker did last year.
What?
I would actually disagree with that. I think he is as exciting as him.
He played Origin last year.
Like, worst Queensland side in 40 years. Like, who else? You know, like with all due respect, and I'm not trying to be a dick here. Like, who else would you have outside the Hammer? You like Queensland have that's a different conversation. Queensland's Origin struggles right now, but it's just Chad Townsend's almost a B grade version of what Adam Reynolds is going to be this year. From what we've seen of Tom Dean, who was so hyped up, he's amounted to nothing. And I know how excited Sam was during that trial match, and I felt so bad because every time he said something, he said, "I know it's just a trial. I know it's just a trial." But he just talked about how good their defense was. We just talked about how the Broncos are a one-man team. If Adam Reynolds isn't there, they're going to fall apart, and that's exactly who wasn't there that day. There's no bright spot for me in this Cowboys team. They have a bottom four back line. They have a bottom four halves pairing, a bottom four. I agree with the depth, but only because the depth is as bad as a starting lineup. And I'm very.
All right, I'm going to explode.
I actually think Dedham was one of their best players in the trials. By the way, I thought he was great against the Broncos.
All right, I'm going to explode here. So everyone, if you got earphones in, put them in because I'm going to. I'll turn the volume down because I'm going to fucking go off here. All right, the Cowboys this year are going to fucking improve. There is no way that fucking side is bottom four. Now, I would like to see Todd Payton get sacked and get someone else in who knows what he's doing. But unfortunately, that probably won't happen until fucking later in the year because that's usually how it goes now with coaches. But the Cowboys, for me, look, I don't want to sound biased, but I probably will here, so I don't really give a shit. But I can see the Cowboys making the top 8, especially with the draw they have to start the year. Out of their first 6 games, 5 of them are winnable. Every game the Cowboys have in the first 6 games are winnable except the Roosters. Every other game is winnable. We play Dogs, winnable. Canberra, twice, winnable. Warriors, winnable. I think we played the Broncos, which is a rivalry game. That's even winnable as well. Every other game against the Roosters will probably fucking put 40 on us. But here's the thing. You've got a top 10 fullback in the hammer. He's an Origin player. He's extremely exciting to watch. You've got Kyle Feldt. I know he played Origin last year and didn't do fuck all, but the bloke's a gun. Trust me, he's a gun. And now everyone's going to say, oh, he played a shit last year. Oh, yeah. No wonder he played shit. He had a different center every fucking 3 weeks. What do you expect to happen there? Murray Tuilagi, arguably our best outside back last year with the hammer. The bloke's going to get better. We went out and bought Peter Hiku. Experience, exactly what we needed. Val Holmes in the center. Could be anything. Who knows with Valentine Holmes? Every club's got their weak spot somewhere in their fucking squad. Val Holmes could be the weak spot. Who knows? Dearden and Townsend. Now, Dearden, the kid's, he hasn't even played, I don't think he's played 100 games yet. He's learning under the best halfback since Joey Johns in JT. If you don't improve under JT, you're never going to improve. The bloke will get better. He might only be a kid. I think he's only 19, 20. The kid will get better. Townsend, experience. I know he's on huge money, a lot of pressure. The bloke knows how to do a job. He's a game-managing halfback, for God's sake. That's what we lacked. We had fucking Clifford last year. We had Hampton. Morgan busted his shoulder. We had all these different halfbacks every week. We need someone who can game manage the side. And Townsend's the one that we needed to go get. So I'm glad we got him. Now, Taumalolo. Now, I don't care what anyone says about this. When Jason Taumalolo is fully fit, no injuries, he is the best forward in the game by far. I don't give a flying fuck what anyone says about that. Taumalolo fully fit, no injuries. The bloke averages 180 to 200 metres a game. He's the best forward in the game when he's fully fit. Cohen Hess, a good experienced player. Robson, top 7 hooker. Lukey and Nanai, 2 exciting young back rowers. Cotter, absolute gun. McLean on the bench. I mean, I think McLean's shit, but off the bench, he might be all right. Tanil Brown, I don't know much about him. Gilbert goes hard. Granville, Drinkwater, some good backup experience there as well. Look, I think Todd Payton's a shit cunt, and I wish he would leave. I really would like someone else to take over. But the Cowboys this year will improve. And bottom 4, I call bullshit. Everyone's picking for bottom 4. You know why everyone's picking for bottom 4? Because everyone thinks that they won't improve. There's no reason why the Cowboys, the last 4 years, they've been dog shit bottom 4. There's no reason why in the offseason they can't improve. There's no reason why that won't happen. Now, no one's going to pick them to do any better than 12th from what I've seen from everyone. That's fine. At the end of the season, I'll be laughing at everyone who has for the wooden spoon. I'll be sitting back there with my Coke. I'll be loving a good laugh. But obviously, I'm backing the boys in because they're my fucking side, and I'll back them to do well. But we'll make the finals this year, and I can't wait for the hate to come my way. I really can't wait. But we're going to play finals this year, and I believe that we're going to improve.
I don't want to be that guy, but
Please.
during that thing, and this is again my opinion, your 2 claims to fame were the Hammer was a top 10 fullback and Reece Hodgson was a top 7 dummy half.
Well, he is clearly.
You have a top 10 player in any other position.
Jason Taumalolo.
Taumalolo, when he's fit, yeah.
I did agree with that.
Kyle Feldt's a top 10 winger, bro. What do you want about?
Yeah, I was going to say Kyle Feldt.
The problem is Kyle Feldt won't get the ball this year because Valentine Holmes is inside him.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Peter Hiku is Val's on the left.
2 and 3. It says Kyle Feldt's 2. It says Val Holmes is 3.
No, I don't. Trevor, I know what you're saying, mate. That's exactly how it reads on paper, but I don't know how that's going to actually go down. To be fair,
yep, we'll see on the day.
We'll see. And just on Jason Taumalolo, I just want to defend him a little bit more as well, and say that the guy has been playing with North Queensland since 2010, and he had his first half ordinary season last year. Half of it was not his fault because of injury. The other half was because he was at odds with his own coach, sort of things. So let's see how Jason Taumalolo goes this season. Hopefully he drinks his milk before round 1.
But again, Rick, he said Val Holmes is your weak spot. You're paying $1 million for your weak spot in your team.
Yeah, I wish he would fuck off. I've said it so many times. Wish he'd go. I wish he'd leave. I would honestly pay for his Uber to the airport. I'd even pay for his flight. I'll pay for his flight too.
It's his third year. It's his 3rd year up in Townsville, and 3rd time's the charm. 3rd time's the charm, hopefully, or it's 3 times it's out.
It's either you tell him, like, all right, you take a big pay cut or you get fucked. As simple as that.
I don't – this is going to sound like a really dickish move because I get it. You got to back your team. But when you both did your ladder predictions, which I mostly did agree with, especially yours, Sam, because we're geniuses, you both gave like 5-minute disclaimers about why you were putting the Cowboys in the top 8, and you were like, it's my team, boys, going to back my team, which I totally get. But I think that's probably the biggest worrying signs about the Cowboys this year. But I will leave on this because I know Sam will want to say something. But like Manly, I know they had Tommy Turbo to come back, but Manly had the worst start in NRL history after 4 games last year. Everyone penciled them in for the spoon after when they were 0-4. Now we're talking about them as a premiership contender. So we're all trying to predict this sport can change like that. And I may be stating the obvious, but I feel like I've shut on the Cowboys enough this off season. So I wanted to give you boys, I want to blow some.
I need to say one thing.
Go on, Nick.
Cowboys were 0-4 last year, and everyone thought they were gone as well. Then they ended up, I think at the halfway mark, they were 7th on the ladder. They were like 7-9 or something. They were in the 8. And I know last year the Titans got into the 8 with 10 wins and 14 losses and shit. But you know when the Cowboys got to halfway last year, they were going for their 5th halfback already throughout the season. If they can just keep the same halfback and win games, there's no reason why they can't be in the top 8. I mean, they went through 5 halfbacks by mid-year. And with all due respect, it's going to sound stupid, but if Michael Morgan was fit the whole year, there's no way we'd come bottom 4 last year.
Besides Sydney Roosters, North Queensland, in my opinion, were the second most affected.
Yeah, they were. I'm not making excuses.
Suspensions for sure.
But no, besides
backing,
we make the 8. I mean, we do well last year. We don't finish bottom 4.
Yeah, no, but besides putting in the spirit, backing them with just spirit, I get what you're saying, Paddy, and I think you've got Ruben Cotter, Robson, and Jake Granville. Those are 3 really good dummy halves, and Ruben Cotter is evolving into a lock as well. I just really believe in our youth, and it's hard to explain, I guess, because we all haven't really seen the best of him. I mean, you've also got Griffin Neame, who's getting shot out of a cannon every time I see him as well. Look, the question that I got on our back line is Peter Hiku. I think you'll find that he might play some reserve grade this season in favour to blood some youths as well. But from just what I saw in that trial against Brisbane, man, I think we've already taken a step in the right direction. So come on, Cowboys in 22.
Let's move on from the Cowboys now.
Nick, I just want to say one thing. You said the Cowboys can win the 5 of the first 6.
Yeah.
There's 17 other games after that, pal. Like, why not say the first 7 or 8? You know, you got to, like, are the next 17 losable?
No, because after that we got the Titans. We'll beat the Titans up.
So why not say the first 7 then?
I think our first 7 to 8 games, 6 of them are winnable. And
So
the other
6.
thing I want to mention as well, the Cowboys don't play a game in New South Wales till round number 12.
You were in the
So
top
that's
8
another
after.
thing.
You were in the
Another
top
big
8
advantage.
after round 12 last year, though, as you just said, and you also took a Manly team without Tom Trbojevic by 50.
Yes, and then ProEnzo
we had
Vidz.
5 different halfbacks. We had different combinations every week. It was how you going to make the 8 with that?
I mean, that's Peyton's fault because Jake Clifford started clicking and with Scotty Drinkwater and you
Don't even start me on Todd Payton. I'll be here for an eternity. Fuck Todd Payton. I want him gone. But let's move on from the Cowboys. We've been on
The best thing Payton's done is got rid of Scott Drinkwater, though. What
It's
a real
funny,
piece of shit that player is, though.
Trev, mate. It's funny that you say that. Sorry, Nick. I know you want to move on, but it's funny you say that, mate. I did a show with a lovely lady named Kate Cornish the other night, and she said that Scott Drinkwater was one of her favourites for 2021. And for me, I understand where she's coming from. I do. For me personally, though, I fall on your side of the fence, mate. He did some unforgivable things last season, and since he's come to the club in 2019, I'd say he's probably played about 5 good games. I'm with you, mate. And again, I said at the start that he missed more tackles than anybody else in the NRL last year, and that's why he finds himself on the reserves.
Yeah, exactly. He gets those tries that the Cowboys, that the Drinkwater fans always, he gets tries. He makes 100 different errors in that game every turn. He just makes the wrong decision. Wrong decision after wrong decision.
Too inconsistent, Drinkwater.
He does give him points, though. So, but he had more try involvements than Tom Trbojevic last year. So is that you're fixing your defense, but is that a big enough gap you're going to be able to make up in attack?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is because you have Dearden.
I would have had Drinkwater at 14 for me. That's what I would have done anyway.
I would have had Granville at 14.
Oh, and by the way, just to answer House's question, I think it is I think it is kind of crazy that Jake Granville is not playing this weekend. Yeah, that's not the way I would align things up.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from the Cowboys. Let's move on. Let's go to the Bunnies. Last year's grand finalists. Gee, they've lost a bit, haven't they? No, Gaggai's gone. Who else is gone? I lost a few. Reynolds is obviously the big one. Wayne Bennett, Jaden Sewer. I've lost some fucking players. Sam, will South still be a force to be reckoned with this year, or are they going to fall off a little bit?
As I said, I'm going to mirror image what I said about Canberra Raiders just a little bit ago and say, boy, howdy, things change over 10 days. I've got the Raiders now falling out of the top 8. Call me a Wally or what have you, or a flake for not, trusting them, trusting my own predictions or sticking with it. But I've now got Raiders falling out, and I've got South Sydney coming into the fold again now, man. I think that forward pack that's going up against Brisbane Broncos is going to be the key to victory, along with Cody Walker's aid as well. So before 10 days ago, I did have them sitting on 9th, missing out on the top 8. I wasn't ever on the bandwagon for South Sydney last year. The defence needed improvement, and then all of a sudden it did against Penrith Panthers in that first final. But I was never on the bandwagon for South Sydney last year, and I won't be again to start off. But I do think that now, with what's happened with Canberra, I think they will sneak into the top 8 come September.
Yeah. What about you, Entertain House? Will South make the finals?
Yeah, I've got them in the finals. I think they're a team that I'm a bit worried about. I've got them in 8th position. I just want to say that if Damien Cook plays Origin, you're going to be playing the worst fucking hooker of all time, Sylvia Havili. I would not speak about him on my own channel this way. When I know that the Raiders now have Starling as an option, worst fucking hooker ever, and I can't believe that the Rabbitohs have gone to find him when they're such a respected club. I don't rate their signings as well coming into the season. You've still got some X factor in Cody Walker, some good youth in Tarn Milne and Lachlan Elias, but you've got some veterans on the side as well to come in, fill in. Josh Mansour, he probably won't get too much game time, but I think they'll still be playing finals. But fuck, Sylvia Havili says it all for me.
Havili. I haven't heard that name in about 2 years, I think.
Bro, he's not even a hooker. Just fucking stands there and passes.
Jesus Christ. And ProEnzo Vidz, do you reckon South will still play finals this year, or are they falling off? What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, they'll be all right. I think South still have the team to compete with some big loss and that. But I think it's a big year for Cody, especially because this is Walker's first year without Reynolds. So it means Walker as a half needs to step up a bit more, needs to take a bit more control. If he can do that, I'm not sure, but he's a class player, so I think he'll be okay either way. Looking forward to see how Elias go. So I thought all right. I mean, their forward is good, but I think they lack a little bit in that forward pack, in my opinion, as well. But I have them fifth.
Yeah. What about you, Trev? Do you reckon South will still play finals this year?
Yeah, they'll definitely play finals, but it just depends on how quickly they find their halfback, whether they'll be bottom 4 or bottom 8 bottom half of the 8 or top half of the 8. Lachlan Ilias, he probably won't see every game out because he is just a young half. I wouldn't be surprised if they throw Cody Walker at 7 and put Latrell Mitchell at 6 for a while. Although, probably tempting, but probably not the correct move. But it all just depends on how quickly they click. But they'll still win their games. They're still better than the worst teams. It just depends. I don't think they're a premiership threat or anything, but I think they're still going to be completely fine.
Do you reckon if they do start losing games in the regular season, they could sign someone like Luke Brooks, say that they have Adam Dilly and Jackson Hastings in the halves? I feel like they'll literally take anyone if they're losing games, considering how good they've gone in recent years.
Absolutely. I think Luke Brooks would actually be a great fit for him. People would say they don't like him, but look who he's played with for the last 6-7 years. I think if he played for a team with Cody Walker outside him, a forward pack like they've got, I think he could be a great addition. But yeah, I really like most of the South's team, especially that left edge. It's like the best left edge in the NRL. Before
I get to Paddy G, I just want to throw a curveball. If Souths are really struggling for a halfback, Chino Harris-Tavita seems to be on the out of the Warriors. Wouldn't he be a good pickup for Souths?
I don't think so.
No.
Too similar to Cody Walker. And I think I have to disagree with Lorenzo here. I think if you're going to say Cody Walker has to pick up the slack in the lead, like in the structure way, I think that's losing South's identity the way they play. You need a controlling halfback to let Cody Walker play how he wants to play.
Yeah. What about you, Paddy G? Will South still be in the finals this year? Are they going to play finals footy?
I think they'll be with the Sharks. I feel like there's that top 5. There's 3 spots left. I think the Rabbitohs and Sharks cement that spot. The biggest loss for me, while we've talked about Gagai and Latrell Mitchell and Adam Reynolds, their biggest loss for me out of everyone is Wayne Bennett. I know Demetrio has a lot of raps, but he is coming in to replace arguably one of the best coaches of all time. So I kind of agree with Trev. Demetrio gets put under pressure early. He might want to grab a Luke Brooks, maybe even a Harris Tavita, even though I don't think that's the best signing for him. But I do think that, like I said earlier, there's still a massive gap in this competition. The Titans who finished 8th and Knights who finished 7th still are far off having an even win-loss record. And the Rabbitohs are coming from a grand final spot. So even if you take away all those players, I still think they'll be in the top 8. What's crazy to think is Latrell Mitchell, it feels like he's been around forever. He's already won 2 comps, Dally M, State of Origins, Dally M Positional Awards. He's only 24. We still get to see Latrell Mitchell in his prime. He's probably going to be a bit more important to this team, especially with that Adam Reynolds. I think Latrell Mitchell is a hot chance for the Dally M medal. Cody Walker is probably the only person in that team who can take points off of him. If Latrell Mitchell can fire, and there's always a gun every year, becomes the best player in the comp. Tommy did it last year, Cleary the year before. Is Latrell that man this year?
Can't disagree with any of that.
I reckon South will still be in the finals. I don't believe they can be top 4. I think the top 4 will be, like I said before, Panthers, Roosters, Storm, Manly. I think South will be about 6 this year. I really like what they're doing. I like Cody Walker. Now, Cody Walker's going to have a big job this year. He's going to play left side, but he'll also be the main man, really, because he'll play on the right side as well. He'll be very busy. I just hope he doesn't overplay his hand too much. I like what you said, Trevor, about Latrell Mitchell going 5-8, but what I reckon, now, this would be scary for me. Imagine going Ilias and Walker in the halves, Taff at the back. Imagine Latrell and Johnson on the left-hand side of Cody Walker. Wouldn't that be frightening as well? South's left edge is the best in the comp, probably, but that would be easily the best if they had Walker, Latrell, Tony in the back row there, and Johnson on the wing. I mean, that could be anything.
I feel
like South don't play with their centre, though. They don't play with their centre. They go straight from fullback to wing. Latrell will be wasted in the centres at South.
Yeah,
and
fair enough.
If he's fullback, as well as being a fullback, not a 5'8", he can play both sides of the field.
Yeah.
And I think that's – you want Latrell Mitchell everywhere. Why is he taking a fullback? Because he can start get sets off well. I'm a Manly fan, so obviously I'm biased. But if there's anyone who can, in the NRL currently, who could probably beat what Tommy did last year, it's Latrell Mitchell. He's a fucking freak. We haven't
Latrell can play anyway. He can play in fullback, and plus he would have no problem defending in the line ever. I think he'd be fine in defense as well.
I don't want to dig at him because I do love him. I feel like his aggression doesn't really need to sort that. I know a lot of people do. I don't think he does. This is from a fat cunt like myself. If he gets fitter, then because there's been a bit like complaints he's lazy and shit, bro. Latrell could probably be not GI. He could probably be better than fucking GI. He's got that much potential.
The only thing that I'm worried about with South is Damien Cook going to have a go this year? Is Damien Cook actually going to run the ball from dummy half and actually have a go? I am so sick and tired of watching Damien Cook get the ball. There's a gap. He never runs the ball anymore. I don't know what's happened to him, but far out. Damien Cook, run the fucking ball.
I don't think his forwards allowed it.
Yeah, with Cam Murray, for fuck's sake. Gee whiz.
Cameron Murray's the only one that allowed him to do it.
Yeah.
Just let Cook be Cook. God damn it.
Their forward pack the past few years has been their weak point, especially their front rowers. And like Trev said, Cameron Murray's the only one who allows Cook to run. Cook hasn't been the same since Seabolt left, to be perfectly honest.
I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Damien Cook will be – gee whiz. If you're picking the New South Wales Origin team tomorrow, you're not picking Damien Cook at dummy half.
But you are because
I am. I'm picking him.
I'm not.
He's definitely so good in Origin. His combinations with Teddy and a forward pack that destroyed Queensland's Fuck, he's a freak in Origin. He's almost becoming an Origin player.
Sorry, who'd you
Yeah.
say you'd pick, Nick?
I would have Abby Coruscant.
Lachlan Prager.
Yeah,
That's what I would do. I reckon Coruscant's
Yeah,
better than Gavin Cook
he's
at the
completely
moment.
fine, but yeah, Cook can take it to another level.
There's not much between them. They're both going.
I
The
think
same player.
After what Appy did last year in Origin camp, I don't think we're going to pick him again.
Yeah, look, I think South are going to have a really good season, but I just want to say they will start the year slow. They'll beat Brisbane in round 1, but after that, they'll lose to Melbourne, Roosters, Panthers. So they might start the year a bit slow, I reckon. But after that, they'll
They
get
did
going.
lose to 50 points last year twice. So.
They'll
Can't
beat
win the
Brisbane.
comp if you don't
again,
get lose by 50.
round, but besides that, they've got a really tough start.
That's the
Right.
best thing in rugby league. The fact
South
that
will have a good year. They'll come
Yeah,
through.
definitely. I love that joke. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Melbourne. I
Oh,
can't fucking stand
top
these
4,
guys.
let's move on.
I hope these pricks come last, but they won't. Melbourne Storm, they're still going to be top 4. Like, if they're not top 4, then I'll be very surprised this year. I'll start with you, Sam. How will Melbourne go this year?
Very bloody well, mate. No further than 4th. I'm going to steal your thunder, Trev. I love the fact that you've picked up on that Mr. Grant is overrated as fuck. I am such an agreement with you there, bro. But Cameron Munster looks as good as I've ever seen him, to be perfectly honest. So he'll steer them very well. Brandon Smith, whether you like him or hate him, he's an absolute fucking pit bull as well, in my opinion. Yeah, they're going to be very, very tough to beat this season, man, especially down at Amy Park.
Yeah. What about you, Hayden? Melbourne. I know we all want them to drop off, but it's not going to happen, is it?
It's not going to happen. I'm really regretting my pre-season predictions, putting him in 5th position. I mentioned earlier that having to play around with that ladder prediction, having Manly in 1st with enough wins, I think I'm going to swap out Manly being 3rd to minor premiers and put Melbourne Storm in 3rd. I don't think Melbourne will finish top 2. I still think they'll win some quality games. They've got a quality spine. They've got a lot of talent, young players coming through. They've bought some good talent that they can train in the system as well. But I do think they'll drop off between those bottom 2, and I think they'll finish somewhere between 3rd and 5th. But I'm probably going to lock them in around 3rd position. They'll still have a good season. I think I had them going out week 2 of the finals, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah. What about you, Lorenzo? Melbourne, will they still be top 4 or there's no way they're dropping off, right?
Nah, look, I want them to drop off, obviously, like we all, that top 4 for sure. They're going to be up there. So, yeah, I expect a big year from them. And like I said, I think Jerome Hughes, so I do think he'll have a big season as well for Melbourne and that. But yeah, look, they're just a smart club. They're a great run system. They prepare for games really well on the Bellamy and everything. So it's as much as I hate giving them credit and everything, you got a really good run club of everything they go with and everything. So yeah, they'll be good this year.
Yeah. What about you, Trev? How do you see this Melbourne Storm going this year?
Yeah, I got them going the second half of the 8. I would like between 5th and 8th. As Sam said, I think Harry Grant, most overrated player in the NRL, has never put a good 80-minute performance in his career, and I just don't think. I think they're going to be basically exactly the same as last year. Besides on the wing with Xavier Coates, I don't think they've actually got better in any spot, but I think other teams have got better than last year, if that makes sense. I just don't think they've improved as much as other teams.
Well said. Yeah, completely agree. Yep.
But yeah, and Ryan Pappenhausen, they said in the chat he's going to have a good year, but he's a hard piece of grass away from getting a concussion. So I just, but I do see them come. They can definitely make the top 4 again. Why not? But I just don't see them improving as much as other teams have improved.
That's a big call, Melbourne. So what about reckon they'll finish on the ladder this year?
We'll go 6th. 6th.
Fuck. Melbourne Storm are going to start fucking throwing fire at the fucking stadium. Melbourne Storm will be fuming if they come 6th. I reckon the fans will be pissed off, won't they? They're so used to top 2.
Well, you got to fall off eventually.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
If falling off 6, I'll take it as well if I'm Para.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Paddy G? How's Melbourne going to go this year?
They're in that shootout for 1 to 5. I think they're probably the only team who in every important position have a top 5 player, fullback, 5'8", halfback, hooker, and lock. They got Kafusi, Kenny Bromwich, who are two really good back rowers. Jesse Bromwich can do a job. Christian Welch, I think, is probably a top 5 front rower as well. Xavier Coates was the Broncos, he was their number 1 future star when all they were playing was rookie talent. I think he's going to have a big year with the Craig Bellamy factor. They spent a lot of last year with injuries in like their spine positions. I think Cameron Munster, if he can come out and dominate an Origin series after he was on the piss for 10 days in a sober off season, he's my Dally M medalist. Because I feel like we're just waiting to see Cameron Munster dominate a season. I agree that Pappenhausen is concussion away from his season probably being over. But to me, they just have the best balanced roster. They have the most They probably have the most stars in their team. They got Craig Bellamy too. Their depth may seem a bit weaker, but when has a Melbourne player come in and not done a job under Craig Bellamy? For me,
I'm just going to keep it short and sweet.
Top 5.
I'm keeping it short and sweet. Melbourne, they'll be top 4 again. I reckon they'll come first. Minor premiers. When they play in Melbourne, they probably won't even lose a game in Melbourne. If they do, it'll be against probably Penrith or Roosters, even Manly. They got probably the top 2 best spine in the comp, maybe top 3 with Pappenhausen, Munster, Hughes, Grant or Smith, whoever plays 9. I don't really give a shit. They're just too good. And then you got the Bromwich brothers in the 4 pack another year. I think Finucane's a big blow, but I'll tell you what, Josh King will have a big year now. You watch at Newcastle coming off the bench, I thought he was a very good player. At Melbourne, watch him explode now. Watch him have a big season. But I hate talking about Melbourne because it's just the same shit every year, but they're always top 4. They'll finish first, minor premiers. They will probably lose 3 to 4 games at max this year. All right, let's move on from Melbourne. Let's go to the Gold Coast Titans. Now, the Gold Coast are an interesting sort of team this year, aren't they? Last year, they made the finals of a record of 10-14. And this year, they've seemed to lose their best halfback in Jamal Fogarty and going with a bit of youth. I'll start with you first, Sam. How will the Titans go this season?
The Titans made the top 8 with 20 competition points, if I'm right in saying. And usually, on average, you need to make the top 8 with about 28 competition points. So they weren't very good last year as well. They dropped Jamal Fogarty. I don't trust David Fafita and Big Tino, who for me were coming in and out of games way too often. Their back line, whilst you've got Kelly and Corey Thompson and Jaden Campbell, who look good, I don't see them really improving. I see them staying sort of much the same. And as Trev alluded to there's going to be other teams that are going to improve and probably be about 2 wins better compared to what the Titans are going to dish up this year. So I've got them in my ladder prediction in 13th position. And it's hard to say that they're falling backwards, but I think they're going to be the same team as they were last year this season.
Yeah. And to Tony-Alice, what do you think about the Titans this year? How will they go?
Well, I think one of my certainties for the year is the Titans not to finish in the bottom 4, but I think they will avoid the top 8, unfortunately, for Titans fans this year. I think there's too many young, inexperienced players, kind of like the Dragons, along with some veterans. So for that reason, I'm going to put the Titans in 11th position. I think I could see them finishing potentially in 9th as well. You'll hear about the team I have in 9th soon, but I agree with Sam in the fact that you can't trust David Fafita or Tino to both have a good game. It's one or the fucking other getting man of the match. So too inconsistent for mine. New halves combination, not sure how Sexton and AJ Brimson are going to go. Para's going to smash them this weekend because it looks like AJ Brimson's out for the game. But yeah, I'm going to put him in 11th position.
Yep. All right, Lorenzo. What do you think about the Titans this year? How are the Gold Coast going to go?
Yeah, look, I don't think they're going to do anything special this year. They were lucky to make top 8 last year, so I think coming to this year, they do lose their Fogarty, and they kind of go with risk actually going with Sexton at halfback. And if Sexton couldn't carry that Queensland Cup team last year, then how's he going to go full-time in first grade, if you're watching the final series for when he was playing for Burley, I think it was last year. So, that's what the issue is for me. And, I think Titans have some good players, like their forward pack is good and everything, but I just think they're not really, they don't have the squad to really make the 8, back-to-back, I think, this season. So I've got them coming 14th at this point.
What do you reckon, Trev? Gold Coast, how are they going to go this season?
They'll be directionless. They're halfback and 5'8". They're probably completely fine players, but in the NRL system, just as a halves combination like that, they've got rid of Jamal Fogarty and Ash Taylor. I don't rate their whole spine, to be honest. I like Jaden Campbell, but he's still a youngster. He's still almost a rookie. So, what can you really do without a good halfback 5'8" combination? I think they'll be probably between 9th and 12th. Maybe on the brink of that, going into 13-14 territory. I actually like their coach a lot, and they'll probably win a few games. They'll probably just be win a few games against a couple of teams by just getting close to the line, putting Dave Fafita over the line. They'll probably score 3 or 4 tries in a game like that against the shit teams. So yeah.
What do you reckon, Paddy G? Titans, are they going to back it up and play finals again, or no?
No, I agree with most of what's been said. They scraped into the finals the year it was the easiest it ever was to make finals. A lot of the teams they were competing with, they've only improved. I feel like there's sort of a thing about the Titans. I think they know they're not going to be playing finals footy this year. And what that means is they've moved why tread water for another year and come scrape into the 8 or potentially just miss the 8. When you can give a whole year to Toby Sexton if he is your future halfback, move Brimson to 8 to 6, prematurely, give him a full season there, build those combinations. And when this young gun forward pack, which in a couple of years is going to be fucking elite, let's be honest, I reckon just blood them for a year. I don't know. They're not. I feel like they're going to fall because a lot of teams have improved. They've sort of figured that out themselves, and I think they're just going to blood a lot of youth this year.
I'm going to say something that I think is going to piss a lot of Titans fans off, but outside of Jaden Campbell, they have the worst spine in the comp. Aaron Clark might be the worst hooker I've ever seen. He is so shit. I don't rate him one bit. I think he's fucking has-been.
Is it
I've
Aaron
never heard of a
Booth?
player called Havili or Sevilla.
Yeah.
They're both pretty bad.
Is it Aaron Booth who was at the Melbourne last year? Or
Yeah. I thought they bought him for hooker.
He needs to
I
start.
think he'll be there by the end of the year because he's still pretty young, isn't he? I think he'll be there. By the end.
AJ Brimson at 5'8", I don't believe in it. I think defensively he's going to really struggle. The bloke can't even get 10 games without being injured.
Do you think it'll be another Kalen Ponga 2019?
Yeah, I do. I really do. And I'll tell you what,
6 games.
I'm not sure who's running at him this weekend. I think it'll be Isaiah Papali'i. If you have a spare $10, Papali'i for a double might be worth getting on. I don't know how Brimson. If Brimson plays, apparently he's in doubt.
Fucking shoulder.
Defensively, Brimson's going to be really struggling in defense. And I know some people have got them in their top 8. Some people have got them 6. Some people got them 7. But there is no way in the world the Titans finish higher than 10th this year. No way.
The only saving grace I will say for the Titans is that with their coach, they've gotten progressively better every year. They've never gone backwards.
They have never gone backwards. Yeah. That is true.
So
I rate Holbrook. I think he's a really good coach. But outside of their forward pack, the creative players, they're just not good enough. They don't have the quality to win the tight games, in my opinion. And if you're looking at a Titans game and you're saying, all right, it's 20-all, can Toby Sexton kick the field goal to win the game? I don't know. That's my answer to it. I don't know. I don't know if he can handle that.
There was a lot of hype around them last year, so I feel like just in everyone's mind, everyone was like, oh, well, the rebuild's over. I don't think that's the case. I think they're still in it. Tino's captain, 22. David Fafita had a record-breaking year. It was a record-breaking year all around. He's still only 22 years old.
Inconsistent year too, I reckon.
Yeah,
Who's that, sorry?
David Fafita's only 22.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think it was inconsistent at all. I think it was great. It's not his fault he got put on the bench.
In my opinion, David Fafita is the most in and out of game player in the comp. 1 minute he's in the game for 20 minutes, he'll score a double, and then he'll do nothing for 40 minutes, and then he'll come in the game again. He's too in and out of the game for me. And with the halves getting worse, getting younger, who, in my opinion, their halves are not ready to win these big games. It's going to get worse for Fafita. Fafita's going to run the ball.
That's why I think they're giving him this year. I reckon, like I said, I reckon it's a year where they just go, look, no point. We barely got on the. We did not deserve to play finals last year. In a normal year, we're 11th. So if we're not going to do it, let's just get rid of Fogarty, probably free up that cap room, blood the young guns, because there's probably got a ton of cap room, and they could probably get a good half.
I wouldn't even mind David Fifita moving into the middle just so he gets the friggin' ball.
No, I would hate that if that happened.
You would?
You're losing all these sort of go forward, these tackle breaks.
Right. Well, I've got the Titans coming 14th this year. I reckon they're going to have a really bad year.
Yeah.
I think Bo Fermo was pretty good.
I
Love him.
I'm looking forward to David Fifita and Bo Fermor both being in the starting side rather than one inside.
If they get the friggin' ball, that's my only worry.
Right in the back row, which is an issue that they had last year. David Fifita, great player, but Kevin Proctor, very rocks and diamonds. So I think having Bo Fermor, someone who's a young prospect playing well, I think it's a great decision by who was it earlier who said they rate the coach? Because I also do.
Trev said it. Yeah. Last thing I'll say on the Gold Coast, I can't believe Patrick Herbert's still at the club after what happened in the finals. I can't believe he's still there.
It's one mistake, bro.
It cost them the game. They would have won.
Mad. I was about to. You know what? I was about to make an idiot of myself because I was about to say, should the Rabbitohs sack Adam Reynolds for missing the conversion? They technically did. So you're right. I'm an idiot.
Corey Thompson's probably thinking, how the fuck is he still at the club? All right, let's move on.
I rate him.
The Dogs. The Bulldogs. Boy, oh boy, they have got a lot of hype about them this year, a bit like the Broncos. One of the teams that have been very hyped up this year. Canterbury ranks down Bulldogs. Sam, are the Bulldogs ready to play finals, or are they another year away until they get, or will they make it next year? Are they another year away? Are the Dogs ready for finals?
They could be friggin' anything, mate. I mean, Matt Duffy's a good player on his day, but his days are, once every blue moon. Tavita Pangai Jr. loses the plot on average once a fortnight. They don't have a dummy half as well. Jeremy Marshall-King is not the answer. Jake Aprillo at halfback is not the answer. Matt Burton could be an elite player in the next 2 seasons, but he needs the help around him. He's not going to get it this season. Someone like Josh Jackson, I feel sorry for because he's just a hard toiler. He toils what he's bland, as Trev said before, but he's just a hard toiler that's really not had much success in his career. I just don't think they're going to be finish any higher than 12th for me, mate, because I think they're coming. Same could be said for Cowboys and Brisbane, but I think, especially in Canterbury Bankstown's case, I think they're coming from way too far down the well to try and snare a top 8 spot.
Yeah. Entertain us. Will the Bulldogs play finals or not yet?
No, they're not going to play finals. They've got a scary fucking side next year. So next year is going to be a huge year for them. I don't know where I've got them, but this year I put them in 10th position in my preseason preview. But I think if I'm being smart here, and I think you might agree with me, I think I'd swap the Bulldogs to 12th and put the Dragons in 10th, in my opinion. Yeah. I think they've still got a quality roster, but I think a pass mark for the Bulldogs this year is avoiding that bottom 4. So I think if anything below 12, anything 13, 14, 15, 16 is a failure for the Bulldogs this season. I love their new additions in Matt Duffy. I don't like this whole leadership group decision, especially Paul Vaughan, who's caused so much trouble at that Dragons club, because you remember it wasn't the first time that had happened. There was COVID incidents and things as well. So for Paul Vaughan to be given this fresh start, I actually think it's a rubbish decision, in my opinion. But I still think they'll win some games. I think they'll win on Sunday in a close one against the Cowboys. But I think they'll finish in 12th realistically. But in my preseason, I had them in 10th spot. But they've got some new additions. Tavita Pangai Jr., fantastic player. But he didn't look good in the trial, which really worries me. But no, they're not nowhere near finals yet.
What about you, ProEnzo? Will the Dogs play finals this year or not yet?
No, they're still a couple of years away, I think. I mean, people are saying that they're looking good for next year, which they are, but I don't think they're going to do anything unless they get a real halfback as well. I think when Marty comes, it'll be good, but, we've seen him during trials that I've realised that a halfback, he's not an organising player. He doesn't talk, so there's no point making him the halfback anyway, but we'll see over time. But yeah, look, I don't know, like they've obviously had a lot of changes, so it's a whole new team. It's going to take a bit of time to gel. I like Burton as a player. I think he'll go well. I think signing that's not really getting talked about too much, and I actually quite like it as well. Yeah, look, I don't know. I actually like the Paul Vaughan signing personally. I do. I mean, you got to remember, I think he was a pretty top front rower a couple of years ago, and at the Dragons, I mean, look, everyone's going to talk about the barbecue thing, but forget it. There's no point going on about it anymore. But other than that, he was a very good front rower. And yeah.
It's a good signing, but being
right.
part of the leadership group, I really question. It's an awesome signing for the club. He's a great front rower. But for the Bulldogs to come out and say, and I think Matt Duffy was in there as well, who I think he's a good player, but again, kind of rocks and diamonds, them to come out and say, this is our leadership group, this is our future. I just have a lot of question marks over the club. And it wouldn't surprise me if they do finish bottom four, but I don't think it'll happen with the roster they have.
Paul Vaughan's bank account and his bank details probably say sausages, more sausages for the barbecue. That's Paul Vaughan's bank account. Yeah, go look at it. Guaranteed. Sausages everywhere. What about you, Trev? Will the Dogs play finals this year?
I probably got them between 9 and 11, 9 and 12, somewhere around there. I think they'll definitely improve. They'll be one of the big improvers, but you got to improve from 16th. I love basically all the signings. Even Brent Naden, I actually love that signing as well. It's a quick player. In the trials, I loved Matt Duffy. I thought Matt Duffy was one of the best players in the trials for the Bulldogs. Tavita Pangai, there is a few concerns about their full pack depth. I don't really love their depth, but I do love their starting pack besides Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson probably should move to the bench and become more of a front rower now, because as Sam said, he's more of a toiler than he is sort of a back rower. The game's sort of gone past him in that sort of respect. How you don't just run the ball anymore. You've got to be able to ball handle both sides of the field, basically. The biggest concern is Jack Hetherington and Tavita Pangai. Will they stay on the field for more than half the year? Who knows?
I doubt it.
Yeah. Sorry, Hayden.
I was going to say, I think Reno Fatoni is a huge loss for them as well. You named a few of the players in the forwards, and I think one player that they're missing is Reno Fatoni. I think it's a huge signing for the Sydney Roosters, even though he probably may not get into first grade, but I think it would have boosted their back row and four-pack heaps.
Definitely. But I still think the biggest concern for them is their halfback. Kyle Flanagan should be there. I don't understand what's he done wrong so bad to every club that he's been to, that he's not playing halfback for the Bulldogs, the worst team last year in the comp. And he's a capable, if not a very competent halfback, especially when Avarello rate him more as a center than I do as a halfback. But I think Kyle Flanagan is a must for that team, for them to get some wins.
What about you, Paddy G? Doggies, are they making the 8 or nah?
Nah, I see them with the Broncos. I don't think they'll be in a spoon battle, but I don't think they'll be in the fight for a top 8 spot. I agree with pretty much everything that's been said. The halfback is a big issue. I know a lot of people are scared from the trial match that they're going to be in another spoon battle. For me, the thing is, all I heard all off season was give him time. There's such a brand new team. And then after one trial match, everyone's already freaking out. They put all this unnecessary pressure on Trent Barrett. I think it's more of a club issue than a roster issue. And I think I've felt that for a few years now. I think Phil Gould has done a good job cleaning it up. If they can find the halfback, I think the reason Flano's gone. If he's not playing a trial match with Nat Burton, they've got no hopes for him. They want that $450K off their books.
Why though? Like $450K is good for a halfback. And
Barrett's the one who fucking signed him. I don't know.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
He was good at the Roosters.
Oh, he was a freak. The way he's been treated is a fucking joke. I get
he's not Cooper fucking Cronk. Like.
The
leading point
Rebels are ringing Kyle Flanagan.
Yeah, that's a great signing. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Look, I think the Bulldogs will come about I've got them about 11th this year. I think they will start really slow though. They've got a ridiculous draw to start the year. I think they'll be a better team as we get to the midway mark and they'll start winning games there. They'll probably start the year off pretty slow, but Dogs fans have got to realize that it's not going to all click overnight. It's a 5-year plan, like Gus always says. The Dogs is a 5-year plan as well, like he did with Penrith. Yeah. Dogs will improve a little bit, but they're not going to be finals just yet. I like what they're doing, but they're another year away. And Rick Money's there next year, and Kickout's there next year, and if they can snag a little halfback up cheap, then someone good. I feel for Flanagan, but then they're another year away, I reckon.
They can staunch a game managing 7 as well as adding a premiership winning Dally M back rower and a top 3 dummy half. 2023, I think they're looking more forward to that.
Imagine if I got Mitchell Pearce. Imagine I got Pearcey.
Do we see Trent Barrett seeing out the year?
Oh, yes.
I think he will. But
Yeah, he has to. Unless you put Shane Flanagan in. Who else is there?
Yeah, I think he will based off because those players have signed to play under him. I've got the
Bulldogs 11th. I think 11th will probably Trent Barrett will be safe. If Bulldogs are bottom 4, then I think he's gone. But I think he's safe. I think he'll be all right. Now we've got 4 teams to go, and I want to apologise. We've gone for longer than expected. I thought we were going to be on here for an hour. We're up to 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I am sorry if it has gone on for a long time. We've got 4 teams to go. We're going to preview Penrith. I'm going to go get my laptop charger because my laptop at the moment is at about 21%. So I'll be back in a minute. But Sam, how will the Panthers go in 2022?
They'll finish inside the top 4. And I think Storm could be a better side than Penrith this year. And I think Roosters are going to be a better side than Penrith this season. Yeah, but I think Penrith are a genuine shot of at least finishing inside the grand final. Entertain House?
Yeah, well, I had the Panthers minor premiers. I know they've lost a lot of quality this year, but you know what? The more I think about it and the more I've done these kind of ladder predictions, Eels, Manly, Roosters, Storm, I think I all have above them. I don't go too much purely off that trial because they didn't play James Fisher-Harris, and they're going to have Nathan Cleary who's going to I've got him coming second for the Dally M medal, but you know what? Based on those top 4 teams and some issues involving the club's backup positions, example, Sean O'Sullivan this week, I think Kurt Falls should definitely be debuting. But I'm going to put the Panthers in 5th now. It's a huge drop-off, but I think that they'll still win some games, but they won't be as good as some of the sides that we're going to see in 2022.
Controversial, mate. And Mr. ProEnzo Vidz?
Yeah, I think top 4 for Penrith. Still got a great team, you know. I think as long as you have Cleary, Luai, and Coruscant, those sort of guys in the field, then there's no reason why they can't, sort of replicate the exact same form as what they did last year. They won't go back to back. I don't think they will, but they will go close probably. They're definitely top 4 for me. I can't see them being out of it personally. They've got a very strong forward pack. The back line's pretty good as well. I mean, I know losing Burden and Momorowski is going to be a bit interesting, but I think Tago's a good kid, and I think he'll go all right in the centres. So I think Penrith will come first. Got them as my minor premiers.
They lose a bit of X factor in Burton, don't they? Mr. Trev from Shut the Gates, mate. What's your opinion on Penrith 2022?
Yeah, I think they'll be top 4, but I think they'll be 3rd or 4th. It just seems like every team that's going to be versing them is going to be, that's their grand final. That's every team's grand final at the moment, and they want to prove themselves against the premiers, hopefully every single week. Again, they did lose a lot of strike. They've lost Momorowski. They lost Burton. They've lost, and Capewell, I think, is a huge loss that people aren't talking about enough. So again, I can see them losing, getting out of the 4 by 1 win or something, or 4 and against or something like that. But it'll be tight. Those top 5 teams are pretty tight.
I agreed. It is definitely a 5-horse race. Mr. Paddy G, mate, what do you reckon about Penrith?
Yeah, I agree with Trev. It's a top 5 shootout. Everyone goes, there's no way they're missing the top 4. If they come 5th, I mean, yeah, it hurts their chances, but it's still a 5-horse race for me. What gives me so much confidence in Penrith is they lost players from 2020 to 2021, and we saw the emergence of To'o. Crichton actually had a backwards year, but so many of their players came out and proved. Leota Lenu off the bench. Liam Martin had a breakout year. And in that finals, they played their best football in the opening rounds of the competition. Their defense in the finals was phenomenal. Their attack was so clunky, and they still came from a week 1 finals loss to win the comp. So for me, I think they're deservingly of being the favourites for the competition, and I think Nathan Cleary is going to be one of the best halves this game's ever seen based on where he's already gone.
Lovely and Martin, mate.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, boys.
Right.
Couldn't find it anywhere. Finally got it. Penrith, I'm assuming you will have them in the top 4?
No.
Some in 5th position, Nick. But
I've
definitely
got,
no
him,
further than that.
I've got him in second. I think they'll be too good this year. I do worry about Charlie Staines and Tago, though. Defensively, they've always been a bit. Well, Tago's obviously a bit unproven, but Staines has always been a bit up and down, hasn't he? But as long as they've got Edwards, Luai, Cleary, Fisher Harris, Coruscant, Kickout, Martin, they'll still be top 4 easily for me. So I reckon I'll come second this year. And I'll tell you what, when they're at home, they will be very hard to beat. Obviously, they've got a tough one first up without Cleary, but at home they'll be hard to beat.
This is their last year at home as well before they get a rebuild as well.
That's true, yeah.
True. These Panthers in 2019, there were talks about how Ivan was under pressure because he signed his son. Nathan Cleary was one of the most overrated halfbacks ever because Mitchell Moses was the shit. What that club has done in the past couple of years, they came out of nowhere in 2020. It's been phenomenal. They could be the next fucking Melbourne, especially with Craig winding up.
Yeah. All right. Penrith, they'll be up there again. No doubt about it. All right, let's go to the Roosters. Another team that's probably, they're frightening, aren't they, the Roosters? They are looking very, very good. Last year, they had a lot of injuries. They ended up going the second week of the finals, finishing 5th. This year, they're all back, fully fit, ready to go. Sam, will the Roosters be a top 4 contender this year?
Yeah, 100%, mate. I got them finishing, I think it was second spot. I got them in the grand final as well, playing Parramatta. That is my grand final for 2022. And just Tedesco and Keary and Sam Walker all linking up. I do question Sam Verrills. It's not that I don't rate Sam Verrills. I think there could be a better option there at hooker, just in my opinion. And Jadaria Hargreaves had an outstanding season last year, and hopefully he backs it up too. So they were the most injury-rattled side in 2021, and you'd like to think that maybe, touch wood, that they have a little bit more luck on that front as well this season.
Yeah. Entertainers, Roosters, how are they going to go this year? Are they top 4 or what?
Yeah, I think they're a fantastic side. I think they're going to finish in 4th position. I kind of want to go with Sam to put Parramatta in the grand final with him, but I took Panthers. The more I think about it, I think that I'm going to put the Panthers finishing 5th, which means I can't have them in my grand final. So I guess I'm saying that a Manly Roosters grand final could be on the cards. I think they're going to go really deep into the finals this year. The Sydney Roosters, they're always one of those dominant sides. And I just think Melbourne around the finals, they start to struggle sometimes. I think the Roosters can finish lower than Melbourne in the regular season in 4th position, but when you come to finals, I think the Roosters will go further than the Storm.
Yeah.
Roosters
15th for Q. They're going to be hard to beat. They're going to be very hard to beat this year. What about you, Lorenzo? Are the Roosters contenders this year or what? What do you reckon?
No, yeah, they are. They are. Especially with Keary having being back for the season. I think he'll be great. Again, with Sam Walker, I'm looking forward to seeing how this Walker and Keary combination goes. Tedesco is obviously all class and he'll go well. So look, just in general, they're a champion side that are expected to do so much and they will do well. I have them second, I think. So they're a big season, I like the Roosters as a club as well.
Yeah. What about you, Trev? Roosters this year? What do you reckon?
I think they're by far the best team this year. I think they'll win the grand final. I think they'll win it comfortably. I think easily the best team this year. Just look at their team: Tedesco, Joey Manu, Paul Morawski. He was in the team for the Panthers last year. He's on the wing at the Roosters this year. You got Keary coming back. Sam Walker's playing 6. You could swap that either way. It doesn't matter. Keary probably had a pretty good offseason, you'd think. Connor Watson's playing 9 this week. So we'll see. We'll see how he goes. That's probably their only little weak thing, but you got Connor Watson and Sam Verrills. A lot of teams will be happy to take both of them and play them as 9. Victor Radley's still going to play. They said this is the first time Keary and Victor Radley been on the park since 2020 together. So I think they're clearly the best team, and I think they'll win the whole season pretty comfortably. I'll go first.
Wow. What do you reckon, Paddy G? Roosters this year? How the hell are they going to go?
Yeah, they'll be in that shootout for the top 5. They've got Tedesco's out to prove a point after Tommy's year. Probably best backline. They've got one of the best rookies in a while, partnering one of the best halves of the modern era. They got Lindsay Collins to come back into that front row. one of the best back rows as well. Sam did just point out that Sam Verrills may not be the answer at hooker. They also have Connor Watson. He could probably end up being their starting number 9, and he's a fucking freak. Great depth as well, as we saw last year. Like that team that came 6 is making up most of the reserves this year. The more I think I probably will win the comp. What is hesitant for me is that I think are they going to win next year? Because imagine this fucking team with Brandon is the best fucking dummy half.
Yeah. I also agree with Trev. I reckon the Roosters will be the premiers at the end of the year. I reckon they will win the comp. I think they have the best back row. I think Angus Crichton's the best back row in the game. I'm in love with Satili Tupanua. I think that bloke is a gun. If you guys like having a punt, he's always good for an anytime try score. Always a good price. Tedesco, Kiri, Walker, Watson. It could be the best spot in the comp if they get it right. The back line's elite, and they've all won comps in there as well. Momorowski, Tupa, they've all won premierships. Tedesco. The 4-pack's got experience. The bench is insane. The Roosters are going to be frightening this year. And Trent Robinson, we all know how good he is. He knows how to get teams up for premierships. He's already won 3 of the bastards. He knows how to manage it right. So, for me, Roosters will win the comp this year. And I reckon they'll come third on the ladder, though. I reckon Origin might fuck them a little bit for top 2, maybe even minor premiership. So, I reckon they'll come third. But, they're going to have a good season, the Roosters.
Excuse me, Nick, mate. May I just ask? I don't mean to hold you guys up, but I just want to ask a question. So, Joseph Sawali, he's on $1 million a season sort of thing, and you've got Joey Manu, and you've got a Kevin Aguama or a Billy Smith or what have you. Because he's on so much money, do you guys put him straight back into the side?
No.
But do you have $1 million player taking up
that
much
earn that
space?
spot, bro. You can't just come straight in. You've got to earn that spot.
He wouldn't be on $1 million a season.
No, I think he's on around 600. I think he's on 600, something like that. But it's ridiculous for some guys played like barely anything.
Yes.
So
what you're saying is right though. But again, it's the same as what I say about Jared Croker. You have to be the best to play. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Yeah, sorry, go on.
It's so good though that they have, like, when we talk about their depth, he's in their reserves this year.
Yeah,
he's 18. He's 18 this year because there was that whole debacle last year.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Go on, Hayden.
This will be Jared Weir-Hargraves last year around the clock. Roosters will be farewelling Jared Weir-Hargraves, which questions whether they can win the comp with Brandon Smith next year with that big loss. But this is his final year. Cut it. Fucking come back when I'm right.
His press conference.
I still reckon Momorowski should be playing on that in the centres and Nagama on the wing, but Billy Smith's a good kid anyway, so the depth is unbelievable. But Roosters, again, we all know they're a top 4 team this year.
Billy Smith, just a young kid yet again. He's because he just done his knee. Otherwise, he would have played every game last year.
Yeah, true. That is
they
true.
let go of Latrell Mitchell because they had him coming through. I mean, the Roosters know they're shit.
No other club would have done that ever. No other club would have made that decision. All right, let's go to Cronulla. The Sharkies. I believe the Sharks are going to be the most improved team this year. I reckon they're in for a massive season. I'll get to them soon. Sam Revill, how do you reckon the Sharkies are going to go this season?
Very well, mate. They'll finish inside the top 8. Nico Hines should have a very good season. Will Kennedy I like as a fullback as well. I've got them finishing 6th or 7th, personally, mate. So they'll have a good year.
Yeah. What about you, Hayden? How are the Sharks going to go this year?
I'm worried I've been too high on the Sharks, mate, but I don't have them anywhere near the top 4 or anything. So I've got the Sharks in 6th position. I think that they'll absolutely play finals footy. I think Craig Fitzgibbon is his first year of head coach, but I think he'll be a fantastic coach. He really knows what he's doing. He's built a quality side. And I think there's a lot of hype and excitement, and Nico Hines can potentially compete for a Dally M medal, have an outstanding season with try assists, but take nothing away from Dale Finucane. He's a fantastic fucking player. One of the most underrated locks in the game, undoubtedly. So I think they've got some really good depth as well with Trindle and then the veteran of Matt Moylan. I love Britton Nakora. I think this will be his last season with the Sharks if he does re-sign. I think it'll be a long deal, kind of like a 4 to 5 year deal if he does go around again. But I think he's a really good player. Wade Graham could probably retire this year. He seems to have his fair shot of injury, and I think he's probably done his day. So, yeah, I'm going to put the Sharks in 6th position, Nick.
I like it. What about you, ProEnzo Vidz? Will the Sharks play finals footy in 2022?
Yeah, they will. I had them 7th this year. I just think Craig Fitzgibbon has built a very good squad, and he's already got a good squad, actually, of having guys like Mulatala and Katoa and Kennedy, these other guys that he's had there before. So, yeah, look, they have a good squad, I reckon, and they do look dangerous on paper. Hines will go well, but I'm just not too sure about as a halfback. But, yeah, I look at the quality player. He should still go all right, I reckon. But no, look, it's a strong team. It's a team that can definitely contend with the best, and yeah, I think they're in for a big season.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Trev? How's the Sharks going this year?
Yeah, I pretty much say what the other fellas say. They're going to be 7th or 8th, basically. You know, the halves are good, assuming Matt Moylan can stay fit. Will Kennedy, I think he had a breakout year last year, although the Sharks weren't the best. I think he was still really good, especially through the first half of the year. You know, made some good purchases. Finucane, great. Pushing, you know, Aiden Tolman's gone to the bench. I think that's actually a really good choice, put him on the bench when you got Hemel and Ueli and stuff like that, and Rudolph. But, you know, yeah, Brayley, I think he's pretty underrated as a hooker as well.
Yeah.
I think he's more of a runner than his brother is. You know, Fitzgibbon, he's more of a defensive coach as well, but I've been more impressed by their attack in the trials. Nico Hines has looked great. You know, we'll see how they go. I think Nico Hines did play halves in that growing up, so I think he just played fullback, like a Munster situation or a Morgan situation. Played fullback for that 1 year and then pushed up.
Yeah. What about you, Paddy G? Sharks playing finals this year?
Yeah, they'll be in the shootout with the Bunnies, I think, for 6th and 7th. It'll be between those two. They have a good back line. They're probably just missing one star player who can compete with the top teams. And again, another year under Will Kennedy's belt. And the fact that Nico Hines was arguably the 3rd best fullback last year, and there hasn't even been a discussion about him playing fullback, shows how good Will Kennedy is. I think Nico's more of a long-term 6, but I think for right now, the club, he's probably their best number 7. Talakai he could be one of the best forwards in the game if he gets it right. Nakora, he's probably I know everyone's gotten high on him recently, but he probably is a smoky Vidalian back rower. Finucane is a great lock, but he could push in the front row, and McInnes could play lock. They're good depth as well. They're just a really good team. So I think there'll be a finals lock-in for sure.
I'll tell you what, there's always that team that comes out of the blocks, and I reckon a team like the Sharks, they did not play finals last year, and I reckon the Sharks this year, I reckon they'll come 5th on the ladder, and I reckon they are a premiership contender. I reckon they're a threat. I really do. Now, obviously, they're not going to be a threat like the other top 4, but if there's one team I'm looking at that misses out on the top 4 this year, that can win the comp and cause dramas, I think it's the Sharks. I think they've got a exciting backline. I love Mulatalo in the centers. I've been saying that since preseason. Ever since Ikavali went there, I said Mulatalo will play center. I promise you it will happen. It's happening this weekend. I can't wait to see how it goes. I love the backline. I love Nico Hines in the halves. I worry about Matty Moylan, and I don't know about Braden Trindle as well. I think they probably, if the Sharks had a great halfback, they could probably win the comp. That's why I'm not picking them to win the comp. I don't think they're there yet. They need another half that can game manage this team. Their 4-pack could be anything as well with Finucane, Rudolph, and all these sort of players. Aiden Tolman on the bench, a little bit weak. I maybe thought Connor Tracy would have been the jersey 14, and maybe Tolman pushes out. But outside of that, man, it's a great squad. I think they've got a lot of good depth as well. I like how they got Jaden Berrell from Queensland Cup to come down for a backup dummy half. I like that as well. But Sharks for me, they'll finish 5th. They're in for a big season. And they're back at Shark Park as well. That'll be a great fortress for them too. Sharks will go well. All right. Last team to preview, and then we'll just go for the other predictions really quickly. Last team, the New Zealand Warriors. Wow. I don't even know where to start with the Warriors. They're the most unpredictable team I've ever seen in my entire life. I have no idea what they're going to do this year. Sam, how are the Warriors going to go this season?
They're going to miss out on the top 8. Question marks on the halves. Sean Johnson, but question marks on halves for me. The hooking position, I mean, I can't trust Wade Egan's body to maintain the rate sort of thing, and therefore what Jace Tavanga comes in. Reece Walsh as well. There's this question mark about whether or not he'll stay, and I think the fact that I don't think they'll return to Auckland at all in season 2022, and that may play a massive factor on them mentally. So I've got them finishing approximately 12th.
Yeah, wow. What do you reckon, Hayden, about the Warriors?
Well, I think we're talking about the Bulldogs kind of potentially having a good season next year because they've bought players who have had a full preseason with them. And I think that's the case with the Warriors here, that I've got them just outside of the 8. But if I was to think more about it, I've got the Broncos in 7th, and I'd probably put maybe the Warriors in 7th potentially. I'm going to stick the Warriors in 9th. I think they're going to have a really good season. They've got some great buys. You've seen Josh Curran in some fantastic form. You've got Ewan Aitken they've bought. They've gotten rid of a kind of weak link in Peter Hiku, a very rocks and diamonds player. Still question marks, like Sam said, about the halves, but Sean Johnson coming back to the side, I think he's going to be lethal for them. Reece Walsh, a very exciting young prospect. I'm really excited for this team, and let's see if I eat my words, if they eat up that fucking wooden spoon at the end of the year, but I've got them in 9th position because they've got a really strong forward pack and just a pretty good side on paper.
Yeah. What do you reckon, ProEnzo Vidz? Will the Warriors play finals this season?
No, they won't. I can't trust them personally. Look, they've got a good mix of players. I think their forward pack is good also, but it's just the consistency's an issue, and just the way they gel. Like, they don't really maintain a good performance week in, week out. That's the issue with me with the Warriors. Their side on paper looks good, but if you don't turn up on the day, if you don't keep consistent performances, then there's almost no point. So I've got Warriors coming off this year.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Trev, about the Warriors this year? Where will they come?
No, I like the Warriors this year. I think they'll make a real push for the 8. I like their team. I like Sean Johnson, and it'll be Chanel Harris-Tavita at 6 when Walsh comes back. I actually think they should be playing Dallin Watesney. Fucking, you know what I'm saying. Dallin Watesney, he's playing at full. He should be playing at fullback. They should, if they want to have their halves set, that's who their halves should be, and just sort out one player instead of moving 2 or 3 around. But no, I like him. I like Aiden Fanua-Blake. He's one of the best props in the game. Probably a little underrated at the moment because he is the Warriors, and no one really cares about the Warriors that much unless you go for him. So, but I really rate him this year. I like Ewan Aitken. He probably was, the game got a little past him in the centers, but I think in this he could do like a Jack Bird sort of thing and really be a great back rower. And Josh Curran, one of my favorite players to watch at the moment. He's awesome. So yeah, I think they'll make a real good push for the 8. Maybe just sitting outside, maybe 9th, or maybe even 8th. It depends. But yeah, I like them.
What do you reckon, Paddy G? How are the New Zealand Warriors going to go this season?
Yeah, I think they'll be in that battle for the 8. They're a pretty good backline. I think after Cody Nikorima outplayed Harris-Tavita in the preseason, and the fact Chanel has been talked about leaving the club, I think Nikorima and Sean Johnson are the halves. I think Johnson probably played one of his best years of his career in 2020. He had a lot of injuries last year, but their forward pack is still very much elite. Adam Fanua-Blake, seeing him in a Warriors jersey 16 months later, still kills me. Those on a Manly jersey. Katoa, there's so many raps about him. Josh Curran's a beast. Ewan Aitken proved how good of a back rower he was last year. They may just be coming from too far down. I think a lot of this will depend on Reece Walsh. And I don't want to be a dick because I know a lot of Warriors fans obviously would be from New Zealand. I think that maybe staying in Southeast Queensland, because a lot of the players now they don't live in New Zealand, it probably could help them a bit more. They won't have to deal with that distraction. But I think there's 3 teams battling for that last top 8 spot, and I think they're one of them.
I hate to do this because I want them to do well. Really hate to do this, but the New Zealand Warriors are going to win the wooden spoon. They're going to have a dog shit season, man. Their backline, outside of Reece Walsh and DWZ, it might be one of the shittest backlines I've ever seen. I do not believe this team will do anything at all. The addition to Ash Taylor, whether he plays or not, I think he's an absolute shit cunt. Everyone knows that. I think he might be the worst half I've ever seen. I've played some bad halves in my day. Ash Taylor is up there, one of the worst I've ever seen. He is so shit. Fanil Blake's a good player, but there's only so much that he can do. They've got no props on the bench. But Ben Masilla's a back rower. Don't put him on the bench and play him in the front row. We saw that last year, and it was a disaster. He's an edge player at best. They've got no props. They've got too many back rowers. Jazz Travaga absolutely sucks. I don't even know what he's going to be doing this year. Wade Egan wouldn't even make any other teams starting hooker besides New Zealand anyway, to be fair. Maybe Canterbury, because, who knows. But
Maybe Manly.
He wouldn't, I don't even think he'd make Manly side, would he? But the Warriors, stuck in Queensland again. Poor bastards. They're homeless. They've got nowhere to go. They won't play in New Zealand because we all know what the government's like with the COVID bullshit. The Warriors this year, if Shaun Johnson goes down, I'm worried. And look, Reece Walsh, fantastic young kid. I love him. I think he's a gun. But one good season does not make you a superstar. You need to back it up. And I don't know if the off-field drama that he had last year might make him hungry. He might have a big year again, but I can't put any faith in the Warriors. I do not believe in them. I don't think Nathan Brown's a good coach. Even Nathan Brown hasn't coached a team to the finals since 2006. So that's not going to make me believe. Why should I believe now the Warriors are going to make the 8? Because they got a couple other players. I can't see them making that. They're going to come last. Sorry, Warriors fans. I want them to win the comp too. They're like Parramatta. I want them to do well, but I just can't trust the Warriors.
I disagree. I think one good season does make you a superstar, and I think he is a superstar.
I don't know, man.
He draws money
you got to back it up.
Especially when you're wearing fucking baby blues. Fucking best eyes I've ever seen on a human being.
Yeah, he's great. And he'll do well as well. Shaun Johnson, he's great. He'll assuming he stays on the field, they'll be fine.
They got too good of a roster to come last.
Like tell me, they're not as good. They're better than the Cowboys. How are they better than the Cowboys who other people have as their wooden spoon? How are they worse?
Guaranteed. I'll even throw money on it.
Yeah, but how are they better?
All right.
How are they worse than these teams?
The Warriors are shit. The backline sucks. Ewan Aiken's not a back rower. I mean, look, they got Katoa, Sheridan, Curran, Manok Masilla, and they got a couple other kids there as well who are edge players. Where's their front rowers? If Fanil Blake's not in the best fullbacks in the world, one of the best forwards in the world.
They got Matt Lodge to come back in.
Matt Lodge is an idiot.
Oh,
if he's an idiot, he's still great.
That reminds me. I wanted to show you this.
I don't have any props. I've got 3 props. I don't know what they're going to do. Tory Harris where's he going to play? He's a back rower as well.
Yeah, he's a fucking gun.
They've got 10 back rowers.
Someone on the Warriors team list actually said, "Where's Matt Lodge?" And then the Warriors replied like the official, "He has a 1-game carryover suspension." And the person replied, "Oh, that's chill. Let's fucking go." And the Warriors actually liked his fucking comment.
That's
the Warriors want Matt Lodge gone.
No, they don't.
He will end up at the Dolphins, won't he, Matt Lodge? He'll end up at the Dolphins.
He's a good front rower.
They've got no forwards.
Better than your front rowers, with the greatest respect.
You can't have more back rowers than you do front rowers. You can't.
You actually do have to have more back rowers.
I reckon you need more props than you do edge players. I mean, obviously you need about 4 or 5 edge players in your top 30. They got too many back rowers, man. You and Aiken needs to be
play in the middle. He got caught down the edge a few times last year. Bailey Syrian can play a bit of lock. Is it that much difference? Is there that much difference?
The reason why I got Warriors not finishing inside the 8 is because I think that they had the worst game management in 2021. And while Shaun Johnson is coming in, the remnants of last year remain in Egan and Chanel Harris-Tavita and Oopsie Wops, Nick Rima. But no, I think the forward pack is pretty good. I mean, I've said it online as well that Matt Lodge's trial against Melbourne Storm, albeit it was a trial, Matt Lodge came on and fucking killed it against the Melbourne Storm. So he could be in for a barnstorming season too, just quietly.
Matt Lodge is just like Jack Hetherington, can't stay on the field, always getting suspended for something.
He's so much better than Jack Hetherington. And
I know he's better than Hetherington, but he can't stop getting
He's not a Tavita Pengai Jr.
He's getting there. I'm telling you, bro. He's getting
there.
He
had one outburst last year, didn't he?
I'm very worried. I don't know. We'll see how they go, but agree to disagree, I guess. Now, Devil season, Devil the team's done. Now let's get to the top try scorer. This is a really fun one. Alex Johnson's been the top try scorer the last 2 seasons. Can he do it for a third? Sam, who will be the 2022 NRL top try scorer?
Off the back of being coached by Craig Bellamy and Cameron Munster being looking as fit as I've ever seen, I think Xavier Coates is going to be the top try scorer for this season.
I like it. Entertain us. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Xavier Coates as well, but I think Jason Saab at $17 for Manly is a good shout as well.
Good shout. ProEnzo Vidz, top try scorer. Who you got?
Yeah, I'd say Coates, but 3 season.
Yeah. Trav, who do you reckon?
Well, it's hard to go against Coates, but I'll go Alex Johnston, going for a hat trick of hat tricks.
Ooh, love it. Paddy G, who you got?
I'd go, I think Xavier Coates, but I'll back the hottest player in rugby league, Ruben Garrick, to just have a massive year.
I'm going for a roughie. I'm going the Sharks bring out Sione Katoa. I reckon he'll be top try scorer this year. I love it.
Is he on the right or the left? Sorry, I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out because last year Ikabali played right wing for the Chooks and Katoa played right wing for the Sharks. Apparently he's going to go to the left with Mulatalo, so probably play left, I'm assuming. But,
yeah, he's left with Ramian, unless they play 3 and 4 different. He's
top
number 2.
Was always fun because last year I had Jason Saab. He came top 5. I was very close. He was 50.
You know how many tries Jason Saab bombed to last year?
Mate, it cost me $500, asshole. I'm not backing him again.
Poor
All right,
he could have had more.
Let's go to the top point score prediction. This is another one where it seems obvious, but it could be unpredictable. Sam, top point score prediction. Who's going to be?
Pass, collect, go, mate. I don't know, mate. I nearly want to say Cameron Munster, but he can't kick a goal, can he?
Pappenhausen will be goal kicking too.
Yeah. No. Can you come back to me, mate?
Yeah, righto. Entertain us.
Look, it's between. I mean, I have the Storm having a better year than the Rabbitohs. I actually don't think it'd be Ruben Garrick. I think that $2.80 is way. I know he did it last year, but fuck it, I'm going to go Latrell Mitchell. I reckon Latrell Mitchell's in for a big year for this Rabbitohs team. I reckon he's going to score quite a few tries at the back. Pappenhausen's second best pick, but I'm getting on Latrell Mitchell.
All right. What about you, ProEnzo Vidz? Who you got? Top point scorer for 2022. Who will it
be? Yeah, I've got Nathan Cleary for this year. I think he'll do it.
All right, Nathan Cleary, nice call. Trev, who you reckon?
Yeah, it seems like Ruben Garrick. He'll just kick 1,000 goals.
Yeah. Paddy G?
Yeah, I'm agreeing. My footy brain tells me Garrick, but I definitely would be putting money on it. I'd probably go Latrell Mitchell or Pappenhausen.
I'm going Ryan Pappenhausen. Apparently he's goal kicking for Melbourne this year. He'll score plenty of tries as well. I reckon Pappenhausen might be, I don't know what he's paying, but gee, he'd be a nice price. So I'm going Ryan Pappenhausen.
You know who else might be a good shout if Jack Bird gives him enough ball, and he's a pretty good goal kicker, so I don't fucking judge that Charity Shield mismatch at all. At $26, I don't mind Zach Lomax. We've seen how good his goal kicking has been in recent years, and some of the Dragons wingers that they've signed and things on these deals, I think there could be a few tries and points coming from the Dragons this year.
Yeah. All right. Who will win the Dally M? 2022 Dally M prediction. Oh, hang on. Sam, who do you have for top point scorer real quick?
I like ProEnzo Vidz as Nathan Cleary.
All right. Dally M is always a very open race. Who wins Dally M this year, Sam?
Cameron Munster.
Ooh. Entertain us?
James Tedesco. I think last year's medalists will be the same top 3, but I'm going Tedesco, followed by Cleary and then Travojevic dropping off, still having a good season. But I think Tedesco picks up the Dally M this year.
And ProEnzo Vidz, what do you reckon?
I think Jerome Hughes.
Nice. I like it. Trev, who you got for Dally M?
Ben Hunt.
Oh, wow. That's bold.
There's no one else in that team that's going to take points off him. If they win, he wins.
I love it. Paddy G?
I genuinely think it's Tommy's to lose, but my tip is a sober Cameron Munster.
Ooh. I'm with entertainers. I reckon James Tedesco will be Dally M. Tedesco will get it. All right. Last prediction, and then we'll go for the round of footy real quick. Grand final. Grand final prediction and winner. Sam, what will the grand final be and who's going to win it this year?
Easts versus Parramatta, with Easts walking away with the GF.
All right. Entertain us.
Well, I said Panthers Manly, but fuck it, I'm changing it right now. I'm locking it in. The season grand final. Manly's still going to win the comp, in my opinion, but I think they'll play the Sydney Roosters. Manly Roosters. Your grand final from a few years ago, I think it's going to become a reality in 2022.
The robbery of the decade.
ProEnzo Vidz, what will be the grand final and who will win it?
Yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, I think it'll be, yeah, I don't know, yeah, I don't know, I don't know, but it'd be either Manly, Roosters, Penrith, I think.
Yeah, all right. Trev, who you got for the grand final?
West Tigers versus Titans. No, I'm kidding. I got, the most thing that makes sense is Roosters versus Manly at the moment. But I think Roosters. I think Roosters are clearly the best team. Any one of those four versus Roosters, I think they've got it.
What do you reckon, Paddy G?
I think anyone in the top 5 can win it. My grand final is the Penrith Panthers versus the Sydney Roosters, and I think the Penrith Panthers go back to back.
Oh, fuck, I would hate that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going with the Roosters versus the Storm. I know it's a boring one, and no one really wants to say that again because everyone's just sick of both teams, but I reckon Roosters are going to win the comp this year, and they'll play Melbourne in the grand final. And I just want to give a shout-out to the King in the live chat who just donated $3 to the Super Chat, and he says, I am the King. $2.99. Shout out to the King for the $2.99. We know you're the fucking King. Far out. All right. Let's go for the round of footy real quick. So all I want you guys to give me is just give who wins, and just give us a margin, and that'll probably wrap things up. But all right, let's go to round 1, fellas. So Panthers versus Manly. I think the odds of Manly are favourites $1.85, Penrith $1.95. Sam, who wins and by how much?
Penrith by 4 points.
All right, Penrith by 4 points. Entertain us?
Manly by 4 points.
Oh, wow. ProEnzo?
Manly by 4 points.
Fuck, man, what is this? The 4-point circle? Trav, surely you got something different than 4.
Yeah, Manly are going to win 13 plus.
Oh, damn. Paddy G?
Manly by 40.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know. Manly by 8. Manly by 8.
Yeah, I'm going Manly by 10, only because no Cleary. Manly by 10.
Yeah, no.
All right, Friday night game, early one at 6 o'clock. Canberra, Cronulla. Both teams, I think Sharks $1.85, Canberra $1.95. Sam, who wins this one and by how much? And you'll be at the game, Sam, won't you?
Yes, sir. Thank you for saying. I think Cronulla will win this by 6 points.
Ooh. Hayden?
Cronulla by 12. I'm worried about Craig Fitzgibbon not being there, though. It's going to fuck
I do
up.
too. ProEnzo Vidz?
Sharks by 6.
Wow, Sharks by 6. Trev?
Yeah, Sharks comfortable 20 by 20.
Holy fuck. 20, damn. Poor Canberra. Paddy G?
Ricky Stewart loves round 1, but I'm going to go with a draw.
A draw?
A draw. I reckon it'll be a draw.
Fuck, that's bold, I'll tell you now. I'm going the Sharks by 12. I think they'll be a little bit too good.
I genuinely think it'll be a draw.
Friday night, we're going to get the Adam Reynolds Cup with Reynolds not even playing. Broncos and the Bunnies Friday night. South's $1.30, Broncos $3.75. Sam, who wins this?
South Sydney by 10 points.
All right, fuck. Hayden?
Souths by 4. Best bet of the week is the unders at 46. But honestly, I reckon the Broncos could fuck everyone's multi. They're going to be up for this game. It's going to be a low-scoring one.
All right. Lorenzo, who you got?
South by 4.
South by 4. Trev?
I got South by 14.
South by 14. Yeah, Paddy G?
Yeah, I reckon the Broncos will do what they did last year in round 1, and I think South will win by about 8.
Yeah, look, I'm going South by 20. No Reynolds, no Broncos. South will win easy. South by 20 on Friday night, I reckon. All right. Saturday afternoon, well. Super Saturday, Roosters and Knights. Roosters $1.20, Knights at $4.50. Sam, who wins this?
Average winning margin between these two sides is 30 points since 2016, bar one occasion. I don't see it changing this weekend. Roosters to win by at least 30 points.
Damn. Poor Knights. Hayden?
I'm going to go Roosters by 16.
Lorenzo?
Roosters by 22.
Trev?
Roosters by 144 points.
Paddy G?
Roosters by 30. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, Roosters by 28 for me. It won't be pretty, I'll tell you now. All right, Warriors and Dragons, the middle game on Saturday at 5:30. Both teams $1.90. It's even money bet. Who wins this one, Sam?
St. George by 8 points.
Yep.
Dragons by
Hayden?
6.
Yeah. Lorenzo?
Dragons by 12.
Yeah. Trev?
Yeah, this is actually my hardest one of the week, I think. I would go any team under 6, but if I have to choose one, I'll probably say Dragons.
Yeah. Yeah. Paddy G?
Warriors by 6.
Ooh, I'm going Dragons by 24. Bet of the round. Dragons 13 plus. Get on it.
You
My
hate
bet of
the
the
Warriors.
round.
They're the new Titans for you.
Oh,
We didn't even get the tap, boo.
the poor Warriors. All right, Saturday night, 7:30 at Combank or Bank West, whatever you want to call it now.
The Dodo got him. Oh, fuck. Just killed
Oh.
two.
Nick's Dodo.
Did my connection just
Well,
die
Matt
on the
Reeves.
ass?
Matt Reeves needs to hire us, Sam, because we've gone as long as the Batman. We can act.
Did my
Guys,
Sorry about the connection, fellas. Fuck me dead.
you're still working on my end. Everyone's still working on my end.
Working
There you go,
now.
real life.
Yeah,
Fuck,
you
sorry,
just
boys.
dropped out for a minute.
It
Mine's
was
3
bound
hours
for a
in.
book moment happening at some
Reserve
point
one.
with all this fucking crazy internet. Tigers Storm, 7:30 Saturday night. Sam, who you got?
Jesse Bromwich is out now, lads. West Tigers at $3.80. Could be very cheeky at just a $5 tip, but I'm going to stick with the Melbourne Storm to win by 12 points.
Yeah. What about you, Hayden?
I'm with Sam here. I thought I was doing some smart thinking with Munster out. Storm 1 to 12 at $3.40. Fucking love the Tigers at the line this weekend.
Yeah.
So Storm by 12.
Lorenzo, who you got?
Storm by 14.
Trev?
I think Tigers by 10. I was going to pick him
Tigers
before I
by
knew
10.
Jesse Bromwich was out as well. But I think they'll win.
Yeah, fuck. That's a big call. Tigers by 10. Wow. Paddy G?
Craig Bellamy beats Michael Maguire by an average of 51 points. I'm going to Storm by not that much, but I'm going to Storm by 18.
I think Dodo's starting to get everybody by the looks of things. I'm going to Storm by 16. I think that'll be a little bit too good. All right, 2 more games to go. Sunday afternoon, this is the 4 o'clock game at Combank. Parramatta up against the Gold Coast. Sam, who wins this one and by how much?
Unconfirmed that AJ Brimson might be ruled out for this Sunday's clash. And if that is the case, I've got Parramatta winning by 19 points.
Ooh.
19? Why
Yeah.
19?
Moses, just for shits and giggles, will shoot a field goal.
That is something Moses would do.
All right, well, if he's going to kick a field goal, I'm going to go Parramatta by 69. No, I'm going to go Parramatta by 16.
Yeah. What about you, Lorenzo?
Dodo.
Lorenzo.
Parramatta by 12.
I'll assume that's 20.
The Dodo is really starting to kick in, isn't it? It's like having a nice night out at the club. You start off slow, then when you get towards the end, you start to fade out.
There's some crackhead who owes you coke money tries to fight you.
I think Lorenzo said Eels by like 14, 13 plus or something. Trev, what do you reckon?
Corresponding game last year,
Yep.
round 2. Para won 46-6. I think they'll win by 41 points this year if we're going by a field goal.
Everyone's connection is dying in the ass, but yeah, Parramatta probably.
You can
as
hear me,
well.
right?
Paddy G?
I can hear everyone fine, so
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
I don't know. You guys are good.
Parramatta will be taking out most of my Supercoach team this week. Parramatta by 46 points.
Everyone's going Parramatta by like 100 plus. I'm going Parramatta by 28. They'll kill the Titans. And the final game of the round
Match of the round.
is Sunday night, 6:15 up in Townsville. Cowboys, Dogs. Both teams are $1.90 each. Take your pick, really. Sam, Cowboys and Dogs, and by how much?
North Queensland by 6 points.
I like it. What about you, Entertain House?
Not a lot of confidence, but I'm going to go the Dogs by 8.
Yeah, all right then. Lorenzo, if your Dodo's fixed up a little bit, Cowboys and Dogs, and by how much?
Oh.
Good grief.
Yeah, Bulldogs by 4.
All right. Trev, I hope you're there still. Cowboys or there
Yeah.
goes Lorenzo. Fucking hell. It had to happen. The alcohol has hit him. He is gone. Gee
in the
whiz. You might want to call it.
Yeah, I'm going Dogs by 18.
Oh,
I
poor
have
Sam.
no idea what Trev just said. What did he say?
Dogs by 18.
Dogs
he
by
said.
18.
Oh, fuck.
I think it just might be
your
your.
happens.
Yeah, I can hear everyone else fine.
Fuck, surely. Oh, I don't know. The connection's all over the place now. Lorenzo's alive. I thought he was gone. Paddy G, Cowboys or Dogs?
Dogs by 2.
Oh, fuck that. I'm going Cowboys by 8. Cowboys by 8. Fuck it. We're going to win. If we don't win, it's fucked.
I hope so.
All right. Hope so for my sake. Otherwise, I'll be in fucking complete damage control.
Tell
But,
me,
fellas, we've finally come to the end. I do want to apologise, though. I did not expect 3 hours and 6 minutes. I thought maybe an hour and a half at most, but far out. We got the full season preview out. We got the round 1 preview. Got all the predictions out. Sorry if it went too long. I do apologise about that. Didn't expect it to go this long, but fuck it. It is what it is, and it's the best podcast on the fucking on the fucking YouTube. So it goes as long as it wants. But I want to thank Sam Revill, ProEnzo Vidz, as always, for coming on. I want to thank Trevor Shut the Gates, Paddy G, and Entertain House for coming on the podcast. I know it went longer than we thought. I am sorry. I'm probably gonna get fucking abused for fucking being in here for too long, but I don't give a shit. Boys, thank you all for coming on the podcast tonight.
Thank you.
No worries at all, mate. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
All right, thank you all. The dodo is literally getting everyone. It's starting to get me a little bit, I think, as well. The dodo effect has finally came in. We're all fucked. It's 10:10. We're all getting out of here. I'm going to go and have a fucking Coke now. I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching the podcast. Like and subscribe. Go check out the YouTube channel of Entertain House, Trev from Shut the Gates, Paddy G. Go check out Sam Revill and ProEnzo Vidz. The link for all their channels are in the description below. Like and subscribe. If you don't like the video, you're a fucking idiot. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. And good luck to everyone's team this year. And also, before I go, the footy's back. See you later.